folks. Welcome to Westeros. Tonight we're playing a Game of Thrones. Very excited. Charlie is back because Jason is got important exam stuff to do. And we had some stuff to cover, I think, with Marcia as well, which would be really cool to do. And then Don's back, and Virginia's back for the tournament and the wedding. Well, we've had the wedding, but the wedding tournament, and it's going to be freaking awesome. You're all very excited.
It's the most important bit of this whole wedding, Sam.
That's all you wanted. You didn't. You know,
all I wanted was a tourney.
Wedding is the first day of your married life. Like, marriage is the important bit. Don't. Come on now. You got years ahead of. No, tournament. It's fine.
Tourney.
Whatevs. Oh man.
So proud of my stepdaughter. Priority.
Oh my god. All right. Awesome. Charlie, how is your week going, and what have you been up to? All right.
It's like a week.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. But it's been super exciting. I got to play session 0 of Cult yesterday over an encounter roleplay. That was a lot of fun getting to meet everyone's characters. And yeah, it's been a week, and I've been counting down to this game. Mostly I want to watch this game. I'm not gonna lie. Mostly I just want to watch this game because I'm that invested in everything that's going on, and playing is very distracting. But I'm also very excited to get to play tonight and to hang out with this wonderful crew of people and everyone in chat who is here.
They're both equally anxious and excited.
Yeah, tonight is fueled by wine.
The vino. Nice.
El
Good.
Vino.
Sponsored by a Mexican beer. Other brands are available.
Cornish wine.
Dornish whites aren't really a celebrated wine. I don't think. Arbor Gold. Now that's a celebrated wine for all you Thrones nerds. Don knows what I'm talking about. Hey, yeah, you know, there you go. Don, how has your week been, and what have you been up to?
Oh man, it's been real good so far. It's getting warmer here, which I know you guys deal with bad weather a lot of the year, but where I live in Ohio, it's actually very similar. And so any bit of sunshine is something that I cling on to. I was looking over my character sheet because it's been a couple of weeks since we played, and we put so much into this, like creating the story and creating the house. Our session 0 was I think you guys kept it going for like 6 hours or something like that, crazy like that. And I was going through my character sheet for Sir Oliver today, and I realized, as one of my drawbacks, I took Nemesis. Then I thought, wait, who is it? Like, you introduced like 4 people last episode that I could consider Nemesises. So yeah, I'm looking forward to how it all plays out.
Yeah, I had one of those moments writing this week where I was like, oh no, what can we spice this up a bit? This would be cool. Oh yeah, that could be cool. Okay, wait, too far. No, hang on a second. So yeah, prepare for the Game of Thrones.
You did a prep episode, and I got home and I seen a message that I should get in there, and I popped in and I was like, oh, he's not messing around. This is going to be, well, all right. And that's how I like my Game of Thrones, though. I don't want things to be easy. It's not an easy fantasy world to live in, and that's what makes the moments where there is triumph and there is joy so great, and what makes the moments where it's the opposite, the exact opposite, just heart-shattering. And so hopefully we're in for one or the other or both today.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting, I think. Cool. And V, I mean, I know what I've been up to, but so you'll tell these lovely people how your week's been doing.
Yeah, it's been all right. Lots of work stuff. Had some good news about other stuff going on that I can't talk about yet, but that's all fun. I've just been really looking forward to this. Sam has had to listen to me go on and on since the first episode about how much I want this tourney and how excited I am to just watch this happen.
Didn't have to. I'm legit excited as you are.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're kind of forced to sit next to me at work, so you have to hear this occasionally when it comes. I just put the tourney.
You have to suffer the DM face,
It's really awful. Sam's sitting there, and he'll think of a thing, go, "Oh yeah," and then he'll just look at me and realize he can't tell. It's that face.
Oh, what if?
Or I occasionally help you. Occasionally in the pub, I help you scheme for everyone else's characters. That's quite fun.
Betrayer.
You can curse my sudden and inevitable betrayal.
It was inevitable. It was always inevitable.
Pretty much, yeah. Other than that, we had an awesome session 0 for Sky Chasers, which I'm super excited about, and I can't wait. And I've just seen Herm's art for Maggie, and I was like, and also Susie's art for Mara. Like, Susie, seriously,
It's good, right?
Sam can tell you how excited I was when he showed it to me in the morning at work, and I was like, ah!
We called her a Fitty McVitty on Discord, and Jason didn't know what we were talking about. It's funny. Cool, yeah. Well, that Sunday was a busy day for me. I had, well, for us as two, actually. We had spy game testing in the afternoon at UK time, and then we did that Sky Chasers session 0, where I discovered that my character is a bit of a backwards, bigoted dad who doesn't let his son dance. Have you heard about
Billy Elliot?
Have you heard about this, Don, from your missus? No.
Or Bobby Jr.
Bobby Jr.
No, she was supposed to keep it all for me, but so I didn't hear that part.
Fair, yeah. I can't even remember his name now. I'm playing a old fighter ace from World War II.
You're playing Robert Dabrowski.
That's him. And yeah, he's a bit backwards. So I'm gonna have fun exploring what that kind of is, and I'll offer that up more as a kind of story thing rather than I want to be a bigoted old man.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Robert bought Bobby boxing tickets, and what Bobby really wanted was to go to the ballet.
Was that you who was like, does he really want to go? And I was like, nah.
I didn't want. I
Was it
didn't think
someone
I
else?
asked that, but I asked you what he actually wanted. I think
Right.
afterwards.
I think I put in chat when it was asked, and you were like, he doesn't really want to go to the boxing, and I was like, does he want to do ballet instead? And just kind of egged this on in our chat.
And he's super into dancing cowboys.
Yes, he is.
Because who isn't?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So that's Sundays. Charlie, what time is that again?
That'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern
Right.
over on Tales for the Gram. That's 9 p.m. UK.
Yeah, 9 p.m. UK. That's where I know it. All right, cool. Thanks very much, team. Well, without further ado, let's get into Game of Thrones. We're going to start with Marzia this week.
Started with me last week.
I know. Marzia, you are in the Godswood come dusk, and you sit on a bench just opposite the weirwood tree, wanting to speak your plans to Lucas and the tree so it can be blessed. The tree this evening looks a lot more sullen and sorrowful than it did in the kind of shocked, scary expression of last time you were here. What is it that Marzia desperately wants to try and put into words for herself mainly, I think, but for Lucas and for the tree?
I think Marzia has been sat here for a while, half speaking the thoughts in her head already, trying to go through what Babelbrook told her, or rambled to himself rather, earlier about the line of succession and the position of the house. And she's begun talking through how she could present her case to the men of the house, to the loyal soldiers, devoted scouts, men who work the land, the farmers, the miners, the men of the forge as well. And she's reached a point where she thinks she knows how she's going to address them, but she has a doubt in her mind because in order to convince them, she knows that she's got to have someone agree with her that she has the right to be Lady Greenmont still. And she thinks back to the moment earlier when Lana, Sister Greenmont, had taken her hand before the audience with the woman and her sick son, and kind of pressed that she was strong. And she's kind of glad at that thought. And she considers also how Babelbrook had gone when she'd asked him to inspect the farm and see if he could find the raiders, the Dornish raiders that had encroached and caused so much damage. And she turns to the tree and to Lucas's grave and says, and then I want to ask Lana for her support. And I think Sir Babelbrook too, he he's the leader of the devoted. And so I'll say, Sister Greenmont, Sir Babblebrook, leader of the band, I ask for your blessing. And then I'm thinking that the table in the hall I'll fill with food, and we can say it's a celebration as much as it is a sad time, a celebration for Mara and her wedding, and a celebration of Simon's success as a maester, and also a preparation for Myria, who we will bring home.
You hear a distant screech of a bird above the godswood, and as you look up, slowly dark wings bat against the ever darkening evening sky, and rests on top of the godswood tree sits a vulture.
How familiar would Marcia be with vultures? Having spent most of our time in the Reach, but lived up here for probably about 2 years now. 4 years now, sorry, 4 years. 2 years before she was married.
What's your education rank?
My education rank is... I don't even see it on my sheet.
Just what your...
Does it come under knowledge?
Sorry, yeah.
2. Knowledge, no skill and education.
Okay, I think you know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably only the first or maybe second time you've actually seen one kind of live, like in the wild.
I think she reaches down into the earth, and she's looking for a stone or a pebble, something similar, maybe a chunk of dead tree, something like that. And she's gonna pick it up and she's gonna heft it at this vulture. I said, "There's no dead for you here. Go elsewhere and find your food."
Sure. You throw it up, and it's a fair good throw. It passes the vulture by, and it flaps off, circles the godswood.
She kind of looks nervously to the light that she's brought out here with her, having kind of stowed away to the godswood by herself. And she'll look for like another branch or something that she can light to try and create a torch that she can put into the earth beside where Lucas was buried, in an attempt to kind of make it almost like a scarecrow, but a fiery scarecrow.
Sure, yeah. It's fairly easy to do, and using the lantern, you light this branch. It's a fairly broad, flickering flame, but it is a bit of the white weirwood that has fallen, but just a twig, and you plant it just by Lucas's grave. When you turn, the vulture is coming back to settle down on top of the tree, and with it, another sits on a lower branch.
Marcia looks at the tree almost as if it's betraying her by housing these scavengers. Strange company you're keeping. Should I take it you don't approve my choices?
From behind you, you hear another screech, and another vulture land on one of the branches fairly close to you now.
She reaches down again, her fingertips becoming kind of muddy as she scrabbles in the earth, looking for something else. Now kind of fearful, as vultures are fairly large birds, and she's aware she's on her own. Salistria not currently with her, and unsure of actually where the shadow cat is.
Yeah, it's not here.
Searching for something else because she's running out of options.
Sure. As you search in the dirt, you see the shape of Lana stood at the entranceway. The entranceway to the godswood is kind of a secreted thing, isn't it? And it's not so much a door that goes in straight into the hall, is it? It's more of a kind of small, like, rock passageway type thing.
Yeah, I think there's kind of like a small passageway you go through, and there's up like a little wind into the mountain where there's a small, almost like a mini valley type area where the godswood actually sits.
Yeah. So she you see her hand press on the side of the rock as she almost pulls herself towards you, and you see and you can immediately hear her laboured breath and her coughing and spluttering as she comes towards you. And she's like, Marzia, Marzia. She comes towards you.
Yeah, definitely startles, and then she'll hurry, nearly tripping over her own feet in her haste to get to Lana, bringing the lantern with her in one hand. It's pretty dark.
Yeah. You look up at Lana. Her neck is a little swollen, and she's having trouble breathing. Not many words come out, and it's very, very tight in her throat there.
So Marzia is going to reach up her hand to check for that fever, remembering obviously we had choking fever in the castle, or rather in Fox Hollow Hall, just yesterday, I guess. It would have been yesterday, today.
Yeah. She's certainly got a fever. But she pulls you at your shoulder, at your dress there, with a strength that's a little unfamiliar, and she pulls at you, and she manages to get the word Babblebrook out as she chokes up these words, and she pulls you uncontrollably into the hall. There you see at the end of the large hall itself, by the big great doors at the end, you see Babblebrook slip into the hallway and then push the door closed, pushing on it firmly to keep it shut.
So Babblebrook, what is it? And she'll be helping Lana to a chair, trying to find her some water, attempting to both tend to the patient and pay attention to what is going on in the room.
Sure. The closest chair is actually on the dais. It's the wooden chair of House Screamon. And if you want to set her down there, you can fairly easily. She's got a little hanky out, as she had sort of perfumed hanky she had out with when Lucas's body was brought in, and she's coughing up into it phlegm and bile and grotesque things. Did you want to stay here with her? Did you want to go to Babblebrook?
I think Marcia will be torn, but since Lana made the effort to drag her down here to see Babblebrook, she'll respect Lana's wishes and hurry to Babblebrook to find out what is going on. Because this is a very sudden change in Lana, really. Right? It's a very quick progression of whatever's going on. So yeah, she'll hurry to Babblebrook to find out what the hell is going on.
Definitely. He's pushing against the door, and you can see it shake, and like there's a force behind it, and it just occasionally just pushes, and Babblebrook pushes back, and he says, "My lady, we've come back, and Alfred, he's sick. He can't be allowed back inside. He'll bring the sickness down upon us." And he's just literally babbling, and just or like feverish himself in that kind of sense of talking fast, not making sense. But that is the essence of his what he conveys to you.
What do you mean he's sick? How can he be so sick? And she's gonna move, and is there like a window that she can see out of to see like?
No, these are wooden stud doors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she'll look back at Lana. How did Lana come in contact with Alfred? I don't understand what is happening here, Babblebrook.
My lady, and there's a shudder at the door, and he jumps back a bit, but he pushes back on the door, and it's more violent, and this door is shaking harder and harder.
And Marcy's going to call at the top of her lungs for anyone in the house to get in this room right now to help her move the table against the door.
As you scream, the doors are flung open. An entire kettle of vultures, that's a huge swarm of them, start flooding into the hall, flying at you, scratching at you, clawing at your skin and your face, pecking at you, descending on Babblebrook, descending on Lana.
And Marcia is going to snatch from the table the candlestick holder as like the best thing close to a weapon she can find.
And you're in your bed holding a candlestick. And the light of the morning is coming in through the open window.
And her heart's still racing and all of that adrenaline still just pumping around her body. I think she just drops the candlestick on the ground and she looks again at her hand as if it was some part of this dream and the betrayal of what was going on, and trying to understand, because it felt so real to her. It felt she was in the Godswood. She was going to do that, and Lana and the disease, and she'll look around the room, and is the room as she would expect it to be,
Absolutely.
aside from the candlestick on the floor.
Yeah.
She'll swing her legs around and kind of sit on the edge of the bed, hands on her knees, just trying to calm herself down, trying to convince herself it was only a dream, because some part of her isn't so convinced. And then she'll just listen to the world.
Your shadow cat raises its head from the corner of the room and just looks at you, locks a stare.
And she clicks her tongue and kind of tries to call it to her with a kind of a, come on. She has some food to offer, but she has nothing.
Oh, yeah, it pads over, and this large, big cat comes and nuzzles at your lap, nuzzles at your hand.
Bad dreams for you too. And she kind of strokes the velvety ears and between them on the head, kind of soothing herself as much as perhaps soothing any trauma the cat's gone through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Large kind of pantherous cat for anyone trying to picture this.
Yeah, kind of a lynx with darker fur.
Dark lynx, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Cool. All right. And then we move over to Sir Oliver, who is having also just a private reflective moment this morning, the morning of the tournament, the morning after the night before the wedding. So you've woken up early, I imagine, to have some time to reflect and to consolidate.
Shortly before dawn, he would have woken up.
You can just, this is the false dawn at the moment, and you've got that kind of, it's the false dawn is like, I was introduced to it while LARPing. It's this bizarre thing. It feels like an overcast afternoon, and it's like 4 a.m. The sun hasn't quite actually risen yet, but there's enough of it kind of coming across the atmosphere of the globe that you're getting some light. So you've already got some light outside. The sun itself hasn't risen yet.
He's sitting in his corners, looking through the open window there at this false dawn. Is there any sound of people up and about, or is it silent? Is it quiet right now?
You can hear the wooden mallet on fence post of the people who are putting together the tournament. They're just making their last minute preparations this morning, making sure the ground is good. You can see that they are working in a little rain shower, what we call a drizzle in the UK, or muzzling, when it's that really fine rain that my mum would say would soak you through. And yeah, so they are working to that. And whilst it was a brilliant day yesterday, the ground is still outside looks soft, and you just know this in your bones. This is going to be kind of hard going for horses today.
He's well past his prime now, in his mid-50s, towards the end of his life. He wasn't going to fight in the tournament, but pride, maybe something, got the better of him when his younger brother, challenged him. He's sitting now at his desk, and there's a single candle light illuminating his face. He takes a quill and dips it into a jar of ink And then he sets the quill down and kind of listens for a few moments to the sound of the rain, to the sound of them setting up the tournament. And he will reach over to the other side of his desk and pick up a small box made of mahogany wood. And he sort of looks down at the box and he turns it over in his hands. And on the underside of the box is an indent with a key. It's pressed into the indent, and 2 letters that have been carved with maybe a knife or some sharp instrument, the letter L and the letter O. And he takes the key and he turns it, and he turns it again, and he turns it again. And then he places the box back up on top of the desk and kind of stares at it for a moment. He's wringing his hands. And then he opens it. And when he does, there's a tinkling of mechanical, tinny festival music. And inside, 2 painted figurines, 2 knights riding side by side on horseback, one in black armor and one in white armor. And they just slowly rotate in a circle. And he watches them rotate for a minute, and he taps his fingers to his wrist in the rhythm of the music, takes a deep breath, picks up the quill, and begins to write a letter that he intends to send via Raven.
Once complete, the Maester is going to be only just getting up, but you can certainly make your way up to the Maester's Tower here at Old Oak, and get the letter delivered. Just the one letter.
Just one letter.
Cool.
And you don't want me to read the letter now?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I do want you to make a test, though, to send it on its way.
Right. I have to convince the birds, right? Is this animal handling?
Yeah. Okay. Would you just? I think this is okay for us, and just to remind me, so I'm definitely sure. Just the destination of this letter.
Yeah. So this letter is addressed to Sir Alfred. It is being sent to Fox Hollow, and it is noted on the letter that it should be read in private as a personal matter purely.
Cool.
And animal handling.
Let me just find my little how many you need. Yeah. So I know how many you need, but that's going to be a secret difficulty from me. Was that the 11?
I'm 11.
Cool. All right. So you tie the long but short bit of vellum parchment, whatever it is, to the raven's foot, and send it on its way into the morning air. All right. And very soon, there's this, a feeling of it being very soon at least, this tourney begins. Mara, you are escorted down by your new husband to these tourney grounds. Now, when we were looking at House Oakhart, we actually rolled them up a bit like we did for House Greenmont. So we came up with some stuff for this. So I'd like you to help me, if you can, figure out these tourney grounds. Because these things are purpose built. So in my beautiful hack roleplay way, I'm imagining something along the lines of A Knight's Tale, all wooden, probably all oak to be on brand, to be on theme, right? An oak is that kind of duller, like darker wood, but treated and varnished and such. I definitely have in my head that on the one side you've got the nobles stand, and on that up high towards the back of it is this like balcony piece towards the middle. So there are still stalls either side, but in the middle here, this is basically for the important people, the dignitaries, the lords and ladies of the house, or their guests. And today, you and your husband. And the immediate family.
Yeah, I imagine it's all done up with the oak heart colours. So these like beautiful like gold silks with this green embellishment and embroidery of the oak leaves.
Yeah. Well, today especially, I think there's a lot of material like draped around the actual stand itself, and flags flying, and there's a mix and a cross between the 3 leaves of old oak and the shield of House Greenmont. So there's that celebration of, and you would actually have a marriage shield that is split half and half. So it could be that it's something like this is just for my nerdy sake, but like we could work out that maybe it's like a kind of black one half, gold the other half, and then a leaf, and then a white heart with swords, or like a white heart, so something. So there's a dual heraldry thing going on, and that's being displayed. That's been painted on all of the wooden shields that are affixed to the front of the noble's stand.
The symmetry. It could have 3 swords and 3 oak leaves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I imagine as well that somewhere up along here with the noble stand we've also set something up for the royals that have come to the wedding as well. So we've done something up that's flying the Dornish and Targaryen banners for them as a kind of honorary.
Yeah. So they're being displayed up on the balcony itself. A few rows below this balcony, where you actually got some nice seats to sit in rather than just the bench seats of the stalls, is more of it's a slightly deeper stall in a way, and it covers a couple of them, but it basically is a level playing field for basically a judge's area. So there are more or less like a table, or more like desks, and that's about halfway down. So there'd sit about 4 judges based on some of the prep I've been doing. And then judges will be selected from the noblemen who are here, or maybe retired or esteemed tourney knights and stuff, to actually judge the competition if that comes down to it.
Yeah.
Then I am also thinking that actually, because this is a purpose-built tourney ground, on the other side there are actually stalls for like merchants and like some of the more kind of like middle class that might be coming through.
Yeah, I imagine that's like a wider area, and it's still got all the silks done up, but it's not. Sorry, pardon me. Done up quite as nice.
Yeah.
But it's. I imagine that we've also put some stuff up over the top to kind of keep the rain and the drizzle out and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, as you descend down from the keep for the morning to enter the tourney grounds, it's not raining anymore, but your slippers are definitely sinking a little bit into the grassy ground that's on these tourney grounds at the moment. From some of the nights that have been practicing on the lists, so Oliver, as you're prepping in one of the tents, or like walking around, seeing all these desk dryers and all these great horses and knights all decked in at least half or full plate armor, there is definitely a good end to be on today. From the practice, I can't remember. So, like I said, there's like the south side has seen more of the wear in the ground, just as you're about to gallop off, and the north side has better, firmer ground. So the northern side is, if you're looking from south to north, is on the left hand of the fence, and that's where you'd be coming towards the south. So if you want to be starting at the north end, really, to try and help you out a bit. As the stands start to fill, start to pack in, there are crowds gathering on the other side. You are actually processed with your husband up these stalls. There are cheers, claps, lots of like polite noble claps, lots of cheering from the other side as you ascend up to the balcony itself.
Where are the Lord and Lady Oakhart sitting?
So you sit down to the left of your husband, who is on your right-hand side. So you are left and right. And then on his right-hand side is his mother, your mother-in-law, Lady Jane. On your left, Princess Daenerys has been sat as a guest of honor, having come here from court from Sunspear.
I'm assuming she has arrived first.
Yeah, so she is seated as you come up and take your seats as the kind of lord and lady of this tournament.
I will make sure to greet her in the appropriate fashion of kind of the curtsy and your grace before sitting down. And
yeah. It's your wedding tournament, so everyone's kind of doing this more to you. In fact, what I'm going to say, actually, if I can just reverse it a little bit, she actually stands as you ascend up to the balcony. The balcony stands for you and your husband. And
I will still greet her in the same way.
Of course. So as you then turn and you and your husband sit, she sits after you. The judges are brought out, and the judges that we have and are heralded are Lord Leo Longthorn Tyrell, Lord Paramount of the Manda, Defender of the Marches, High Marshal of the Reach, and Warden of the South. This is your liege lord. It's the Oakhart liege lord. It's liege lord for House Greenmont as well. This is the boss. Right. Sat next to him on this pair of judges is Lord John Oakhart, your father-in-law, as is the tournament he is hosting. The two judges for the second team, who will judge the other night and would agree with the other judges on if they come down to an actual tie and they have to decide who was the better fighter, better rider, is Prince Maron Martell, Prince of Dawn and Lord of Sunspear. There is a moderate, half-assed applause from the Reacher Lords. The few Dornishmen who are here are giving him a cheer. But that's not many. The home crowd is small. The away crowd is small here today. And then Lord Merrill Florent is then heralded as well, Lord of Brightwater Keep. He's an aging lord, and he's got big old ears because all the Florents have big old ears. This is just a thing. Okay. As you sit, as the first few tilts take place, young knights, as well as a mix of experienced knights, just knocking them flying, you are presented with various gifts from various lords and ladies. There's no break in the actual action. People just come and go as they please. There are a few people offering food, basically going around offering entrees to people, that kind of thing. But you are presented with various gifts. I want to focus on a lord that comes up to you to ask to present to you 2 cups. These are 2 ornamental glass goblets for wine that you can see. Let me just pull the guy up here a second.
Do I recognize this person?
So the heraldry itself is of a quartered shield, gold and black. In the black is a silver goblet, and in the gold is a black rose. And he introduced himself as Lord Mathis Costain. And that should have been shown to you from Roll20 if I click the right thing.
Yeah, I've got it up.
Sweet. Okay, cool. He's a middle-aged man, greying auburn hair, leads down into a rich ginger chops. Fairly thin. And he presents you with these goblets. My lord, my lady Oak, please accept these gifts on behalf of 3 Towers. These glasses are forged in our own artisan's shop, as we are famous for our goblets and our glassware. as he presents them to you, the metal is a kind of twist of stems, and the glass itself is actually a blackened rose head.
Ooh.
They are very ornate and they are very nice. So as this is your wedding, I am going to let you go first in this intrigue.
Okay. So do we have any history with House Costain? I know that they were on our side in the Battle of the Redgrass Field, right? They fought with us, essentially. They were for the Blackfires.
Yes, they were staunch Blackfire rebellious people.
Okay.
Yeah, supporters.
So Mara will, I'm assuming she's being handed one of these goblets to look at, and eventually someone will take them off and they put them somewhere.
They're in a lovely wooden box presentation, bit of cloth and straw to hold them up.
She'll lean forward, kind of take the box and pick one up out of it and turn it over in her hands. And she'll look at her husband and remark how beautiful they are and say, "My lord, you've gifted us such wonderful gifts. We shall have to drink out of them at the feast tonight. They truly are beautiful. Thank you ever so much." And she's just going to play very, very polite, and she probably does quite like them, actually. That sounds like the kind of thing she'd like.
Sure, okay. So what I'd like you to do is please choose your disposition.
Okay. I've got to get the intrigue stuff up.
Yeah. So this will figure out your disposition rating, which will be armor against any like influence he's trying to get onto you. If you've never met someone before, it's most likely going to be indifferent. As you're attractive, you've got the attractive quality. His disposition is going to be raised by 1 towards you.
Sorry, I completely forgot to get the thing up for the disposition.
That's all right.
Could you send me a link to that, Sam, if you've got it to hand? It's like,
so do you want the cheat sheet?
Yes, please.
I
knew I forgot to bring something up on the many tabs I have open.
Oh, that's cool. I do have it actually. Let me jump in here. So that should be in the Zoom chat there for you.
Thanks, Sam.
That's quite all right. Bear with us, folks. Just got to figure out our dispositions. Cool. Don't tell me. We play this game behind closed doors. No, what? That was weird. I know what I mean.
We know what you mean.
There are some cool secret elements to this game, and I enjoy that.
As last week when you said about
oh yeah,
one green one fucking Mara.
Look,
what's the most beautiful slip of the tongue?
Look, it's Thursday and it's been a week. All right, don't come for me.
I also have Adept Negotiator, so if my disposition is hidden, there's no penalty on persuasion tests with starting disposition. I'm just going to remind you of that, so I've reminded me of that, because I'll forget.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so what happens is with your disposition rating is that you apply that modifier based on your disposition to them, not the other way around. I always got that wrong. So you don't have to tell me anything. Just remember to apply the modifiers when you do stuff later.
I just add that to whatever I roll.
Yeah. So if you really love someone, you're persuading them, you'll get a bonus.
Cool.
Lying to them, you'll get a minus modifier. So like, just be conscious of that. Right. Okay. So yeah. So done a bit of role play. Did you want to use technique, and therefore did you then? It might be a case that you want to pick an action first as well. So. Like, because it couldn't, but you don't just want to be maybe necessarily influencing from the get-go.
I'm basically, I just want to kind of charm him and talk to him and see what response he comes back, because I'm assuming he was on our side in the Blackfire Rebellion, which means he's probably at least amicable towards House Greenmont. And right now, Mara knows that she needs people that will support her and people that will potentially become allies for her. And this is a great place to do it because everybody's here. So she recognises this house as somebody that supported her father as well. So
another bit of cool intrigue environment stuff for you. I am going to give you a +2 modifier to charm because this is your wedding tournament.
Ooh.
So that's going to
That's to everybody now.
Well, that's going to be flat, and that's going to apply whatever the disposition. So you get to add the disposition modifier 2 as well if you've got that. So,
Okay.
So I'll give you an extra +2 because it's your wedding. People are going to be a bit more amiable to you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up anything about the Blackfire Rebellion because
absolutely. It did kind of tear the Oakheart family apart. This is the thing.
Yeah, it's not just that. I have a Targaryen princess sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, Mara's very, very grateful. She's thanking him for these. She takes the time to really look over them, probably a little bit longer than she has done with some of the other gifts she's been given.
Sure.
And she basically just wants to make sure that she's in his good graces, that he really feels that she's enjoyed this gift that she's been given.
Awesome. All right. Did you want to, as a terms of an action, did you want to straight up influence him?
Yeah, I'd like him to kind of be amicable towards her. She'd like it so that he thought well of her in this position as well.
Cool. All right. Well, roll persuasion charm for me.
Okay.
And you've got that. You got that +2 to the result as well.
I do. I did just click something. I can't see it yet. So that's 18. So +2 is 20. And do I add anything for I add my disposition, don't I?
Check your disposition and apply any modifier it has for you.
So that's 20. So that's 21.
Cool. All right. So that is 2 degrees of success. So you will apply your persuasion rank, I believe. Yeah. So what's your actual score in persuasion?
My score in persuasion is 4.
Okay, cool. So you'll actually do 8 influence to his composure, but I've got a bit of DR, so I'll knock that down. God, I need my cheat sheet. There we go. All right. What's he got there? Okay, cool.
Oh, I think I have a thing that lets me reroll 1s as well.
You are attractive, so if you had any 1s in that,
I think I do.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. So that we're gonna have to fudge this a little bit. Roll 1d6 for me. We're gonna take, if it's better than a 3 or a 4, we're gonna take it up a bit.
Oh.
Other way. So / and then roll and then 1d6.
Unheard command. There we go. It's a 3.
Okay, so that is actually. It's still going to be the same result because if you drop that 1, then you've got the 3s that they're going to cancel kind of out in a way. All right, so yeah, I mean 2 degrees is fantastic straight off the go. Cool. So he is basically my first action is to give you these cups. So I'm going to try and actually score some influence off of that essentially. So let me roll mine. Oh, come on. I'll roll 20, don't be silly. As 14, 15 versus your intrigue defense.
Yeah, that beats it.
Cool. Just 1 degree of success?
So my intrigue defense is 10, so
yeah, just 1 degree of success. So if it was a 15, that would be 2 degrees because it goes up in 5s that way. So... Right. 1 degree. So he's going to do 3 points of influence to you. So check your DR and take that away from it.
DR. So where do I find that?
That's in your dispositions.
Ah, right. Okay.
So DR is like your intrigue armor. It absorbs the damage that you take.
So he did how much? Sorry.
3.
3. So nothing.
Cool. All right. I'm not trying to matter too much, so I know your disposition. He doesn't. All right. So yeah, so you're going to ignore that. You soak it. It's like, yeah, it's my wedding. Of course I'm getting cool cups.
Basically.
Yeah, absolutely. But he is very polite and very respectful. But it's over to you again if you wanted to carry on.
I don't really think there's much more that Mara can do with this because drawing it out would almost look more odd than just kind of accepting the gift and.
No, absolutely not. You can carry on if you like. If anything, quitting is going to be the strange thing. I'm dismissing him.
Right.
You can keep him going if you want. Because people come up, they've given gifts, and they've chatted to Alistair, or they've chatted to you for a bit. Like, people stick around. That's the point, is they give you the gift, and then they're like, hi, so I'm a person, and I have some important thoughts about, things. This is courtly stuff away from court,
In which case, she'll probably take the gifts and hand them off to. I'm assuming there's somebody there that's been taking these and putting them.
Like 5 people, yeah.
Yeah. So that happens, and she'll say, "I'm so sorry, I've completely forgotten this man's name. I forgot to write it down."
That's all right. Mathos.
Mathos.
Yeah.
She'll say, Lord Mathos, it's so wonderful for you to come to the wedding. We really, and she'll look over at her husband. I don't know is he talking to somebody, or is he just sat there?
He's well into the joust. Like, this is the, like, going to football on a date and getting ignored. Like, he is well into the sport. Sports ball, sports stick is into it. He loves it.
She'll turn as if to gesture to him and go, "You'll have to excuse my lord husband here. He does seem to like his jousting. I, for one, have never quite managed to get the hang of the rules myself. But then again, I don't have to ride on horseback to do it myself. So, what brings you down from Hightower other than the wedding? Was it just this, or have you got business here in Old Oak?"
I don't mean to alarm you in any way, my lady, but this is the highlight of the beginning of the season. It's the first tournament we've had since the winter, and a little precursor to what I imagine Lord Leo will do to invite everyone to court at Highgarden very shortly. I imagine that you, Lord John, would want your husband and yourself to attend, to learn the court's intricacies and all its goings on.
Oh, absolutely. I look forward to it. I mean, all of the fanfare, it's wonderful. All of the knights done up and the horses done up. It really is something wonderful to watch. So I look forward to the season starting. We didn't really have many tournaments back up at Fox Hollow.
Not
Didn't
much
really have
space
the ground for it.
Not much space for it, I imagine, yes. There's an awkward pause, and you get to roll your what technique do you want to use? So
she's still just trying to charm him and just kind of play up that kind of like, this is so wonderful you're here, and I'm, she's enjoying the conversation, talking to somebody that she doesn't have to feel as awkward around as some of the Oak Hearts or some of the Dornish that she's probably had to sit and talk to.
Do you genuinely want to garnish a friendship with him?
She does at this point, yeah.
So that's persuasion.
Okay.
Rather than deception. Like, if you weren't really, if you were just being polite, or if you wanted to get him on side but you weren't really his friend, like that would be deception. But this is straight up persuasion.
Yeah. So am I able to use charm on this?
Yeah, this is it. This is exactly what charm is used for.
So did it roll? It didn't roll. I did click it. So it's a 19, and then +2 is 21, and then
21s. No, you're good for ones.
And then 19, so it's 22.
Okay.
In total, is that, and then plus the persuasion.
Yeah.
Thing, right? So 26.
Okay, so that's a lot of
I
degrees.
can do math.
So that's 3 degrees of success, and that is, I think, the most degrees you can get. So you have won this intrigue. So he explains, like, yeah, I've never been one for horseback myself. Unfortunately, that was my late brother, and explains he had an older brother. And then basically you watch a little bit. Another knight gets completely thrown off of his horse by a more experienced tawny knight, and by charming him, consequences of defeat. Simple act of cultivating friendship and alliances. When you defeat an opponent using charm, you improve the target's disposition by 1 step. The target's improved disposition lasts until circumstances would worsen their disposition, such as betrayal or inciting a rival against them. In addition, let's write this down. You gain +1 dice on all deception and persuasion tests during your next intrigue against this person. So he is guaranteed to like you some more.
Okay. Am I able to, from this, like, get a read on why he seemed so keen to stay and talk?
I mean, you mentioned it earlier. This is a kind of a Blackfire connection.
Okay. Is that what I get the feeling is, that because she knows that house that is?
Yeah, he came to you, not Alistair. So, yeah.
Okay. Is that kind of the end of this intrigue then, or is
yeah, that's the end of this intrigue. So I'm going to head over to Oliver. So Sir Oliver, it is now your time. He is heralded to appear on the south side, and on the north, you see in the distance, Sir Oliver, a young, strapping, yet to be named NPC, eager tawny knight. In red and like a black trim. No particular noble heraldry that you can see. Just a plain red shield painted on, or actually a cloth kind of covered over onto plain wood. But you can see from his helmet and from the pauldrons that you can see that are coming out from this tabard is kind of like a bashed up, like characterful bit of armor. In the half plate that he's wearing. Let me go through. So you've got Red Rob as well to squire for you. I thought that'd be quite cool. So he's back in the scene, and has a whole array of tawny lances ready for you to break on the shields of your opponents. To get through this means that you're a step closer to getting towards fighting your brother. Anything particular you're doing in preparation for this, apart from the usual?
He's very isolated this morning. He checks on Mara several times between bouts. He watches the crowd, makes note of just how bad the southern side of the grounds are. Trying basically to get ahead and formulate a plan if he's caught on the south side, how he wants to approach riding. He's ridden in war. He's ridden down men with a real lance before in much muddier weather than this. So he's very, very familiar with the situation. Is he's sitting there on top of his horseback. He's got a Dornish war horse. It's a sand steed, which is very rare for this area. And this is the only horse that he'll ride. I imagine that he probably got some side eyes from folks at court for demanding that this is the horse that he would ride. And it does have the ironwood banners, the yellow banner with the black gate over the side of the horse, which probably has gotten him some side eyes from other members of House Ironwood, from which he's been exiled. He's sitting there on top of his horse now. His chin is held up high, proud. He's in black copper armor with red accents. He's got a turbaned helmet that has a red turban wrapped around it. And this is very much the image of him that people know, the Black Lance, when he rode in the war, in the Blackfire rebellions. But he's much older now than he was before. And even though he thinks this man across the way from him is probably some sort of hedge knight or lesser skilled knight, there's a part of him that causes his heart to beat just a little bit faster with anxiety. A young man is a young man. And he's lucky to have lived as long as he has already.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. You are heralded as the Black Lance, the Dawn in Exile, Sir Oliver Ironwood. Just to stick the knife a little bit. On this south side, because there are going to be some animal handling tests to stay in the saddle if you get knocked about a bit. They are going to be at a -1 to the test. Not the whole dice, like you roll all your dice and everything, but just a -1 to the actual result itself. A critical failure will mean the horse goes over as well. That might become important later. So, as you'll be very aware, and as I imagine Lord Alistair tries to describe to Mara in more elaborate detail than this and more weird intricacy than this, but this is basically what we're looking at. Unhorsing your opponent wins your joust. There are 4 courses, so you've got 4 chances, 4 passes to get the other person off of their horse. You've got to aim for a shield that sometimes, depending on the Reacher Knights have it strapped to an arm. The Dornish Knights, like yourself, sometimes actually have just the round shield, and actually, rather than strapped to the kind of arm and upper arm and elbow, you actually have it like a shield across the front of your forearm. If no one's unhorsed after 4 passes, then we look to how many lances got broken off off each other's shields. So the lances break ties. If there's still a tie, we're going to go down to the judges. So the judges are going to see who the better rider was, who the better knight was, and the judges, as I described, for the first team, for the south side, this is your team for this bout, is Leo Tyrell and Lord John Oakhart. On the second team, for the young knight, the young hedge knight with the battered up armor, is Maren Martell and Lord Merrill Florent. Okay, so there's a fair amount of numberiness to this, so bear with us, guys. But once I get the PDF bit up for Joust particularly, did I go way past it? Yes, I did. There we go. All right, so we are going to roll a fighting test simultaneously. So yeah, we're not going to have any initiative or anything like that. A failure means that you break the lance. I'm actually going to make so because that's weird. So actually, failure, I'm going to make you hit the shield, but the lance doesn't break. So because the breaks are quite important actually in terms of the more elaborate rules here in the Reach. 1 degree of success, and this is against their passive ride. So what you're going to do is your passive ride is going to be your passive animal handling, so whatever your skill rank is in animal handling, times 4. And if you've got any bonus dice in ride, you're going to add that number to that too. So if you've got a bonus dice of like 1 bonus dice in ride, you're going to add 1 to your passive animal handling, and that's going to be your passive ride. 1 degree of success, you smash your lance on your opponent's shield. They take damage as normal and must succeed on a challenging 9 animal handling test to stay in the saddle. If they don't, they fall off, you win. 2 degrees, it's the same, and they need a 12 to stay on the horse. 3 degrees is hard 15 difficulty, and then 4 degrees, if you're very lucky, is very hard, so that's 18. Because it's a charge, we're going to drop down a dice. So you're not going to keep all 5, I believe, of your fighting test dice. We're only going to keep 4 of those. But you still roll the whole lot, including all the bonus dice that you've got going on. A tawny lance does have some training to it. So whatever your rank is in spears, you're actually going to take a bonus dice away from that because it requires a bit more skill. So let me just check for you here. And the fighting... So you've got 2 in spears, so you're going to be rolling 5 plus 1 and keeping 4. So it's rolling 66, keeping the best 4. You can also then basically have some kind of maneuvers here. You can fight aggressively, so you can choose to apply a +1 or a +2 to your fighting test result, but you subtract the same from your passive ride. So they will have an easier time to hit you, but you get that boost to your fighting test. If you're braced in the saddle, then you subtract 1 or 2, your choice, from your fighting test result, and you add the same to your animal handling test to stay in a saddle. So that's when you get hit and you need to stay. you get to add that bonus to your actual test. You can ride defensively, so you can apply a +1 or +2 bonus to your passive animal handling test, but you take that away from your fighting test. Eyes fixed, you can apply a bonus of +1 to your fighting test. However, the base damage of your opponent's attack is increased by 1 point. So Tawny Lances are animal handling +3. So if you've got, say, an animal handling of 4, so that's going to be 7 damage per degree of success. Plate armor absorbs most of that because they're like a 9 or a 10 armor rating. But sort of lost myself. But you get to increase that. So if you've got, so say 7, you're going to go to like 8. And if you've got any strength as well, yeah. So you got 1 in strength. So your Tawny Lance is going to be an 8, like base. And then, so if you ride with your eyes fixed, that's going to go up to. Oh no, sorry. Then if they ride eyes fixed, your damage is going to go up to a 9. If you ride high in the saddle, then you apply a bonus of 1 or 2, your choice, to your fighting test, and subtract the same amount from your animal handling test to remain in the saddle if you're struck. All right. So let's joust. So you line up both ends of the tilt, about 100 meters or so away from each other. And then the tawny marshals. I was watching this yesterday on YouTube. So you've got 2 night judges, or like marshals, who are one behind you. So it's actually stood behind you at one end of the tourney ground, and then you've got another night marshal at the other end. You've got 2 line marshals on either side. So it's the lead line marshal that raises their oak heart flag and then waves it down for you to begin. And you charge forward, lowering the lance across your body as you ride on the right-hand side, on the south side. And just we're about to make contact, let's roll those dice.
So as he starts riding, Sir Oliver, just the moment before, looks up to the stands to where he knows Mara's sitting. And he flashes a big, bright smile at her. And as he lowers his lance, dangling from the hilt of the lance between 2 of his fingers is an embroidered handkerchief that has the Greenmont crest on it. And this is a favor that Mara has given him to represent him being a part of their family. And he holds it tightly tucked into part of his gauntlet. And then he looks down this younger man, and as he starts with a whip, he is going to push his body forward, take his right hand that has the shield on it, and lean closer to the neck of the horse so that as he comes in tight, he's bracing himself, and he's going to use the braced position.
Cool. Okay. You can see this young knight really working his horse, and he's riding very strong, very aggressively. So I'm going to take the aggressive. So you can apply your +1, +2. Right. Let's simultaneously roll. Let's see how the dice land. Okay, so versus passive.
Did I do that right? No.
So you've rolled.
I'm supposed to roll 6 and keep 4.
Yeah. Roll all 6 and keep 4.
Okay. So 66, keep 4.
Let's do that again. Okay.
There we go.
Nice. So I rolled a 15 against your passive ride, and you're rolling braced. So that's for your animal handling test. So that's fine.
My passive ride is 17.
Okay, no. So it's a failure. So he strikes your shield, but the lance doesn't break. Rolling a 17 against his passive ride is 1 degree of success. So you shatter your lance on his shield, and he needs to roll a difficulty 9 animal handling test to stay in the saddle, and this is where I mess it up. He rode aggressively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So subtract the same amount from your passive animal handling. Okay, you did 2 degrees of success. My apologies.
Okay.
Sam, sorry, I just want to say 2 people in chat. Mate V7 has just done 200 bits as House Targaryen sees the Ironwood's charge and approves of the form.
Oh.
Thraxinator, I hope I've said that right. 500 bits for the smooth voice of Sir Oliver to win this whole tourney.
Oh my god,
And
thanks so
me and
much.
James have also been bidding on stuff as well. Just
Oh.
I sent Virginia money for her bets.
Thanks so much, guys. It's not really planned or anything, but we just started affiliate on like Saturday, so I'm a bit new to it right now. But my plan is for any little donations, anything like this. I'm not going to try and monetize it straight up and do like donate this for like bonus dice and donate this for like Destiny points and cool stuff. I'm not going to do that. Just like we might come to that later on down the line, but not right now. But what I am going to do is anything you do donate, anything we then get in, I'm going to share around with the cast, because it's, you know, I want to profit share this, because we're having an amazing time, but we're also like taking up evenings and stuff and being like on video too. So thank you so much for any donations. Like, I've 4 subscribers and stuff too. This is like,
I didn't mean to interrupt, Sam. Sorry, it's just because I know you can't see the Twitch chat all of the time, so you can't see it going on.
No, I'm not paying attention. I'm sorry. I got a book
I'll let
and
you
I
get
got
back to jousting because I'm
and
liking
I got the joust. Okay, right. Okay.
That's 2 degrees of success for Sir Oliver.
2 degrees of success. Your base damage is 8, right?
So that's 16 damage.
16 damage to his AR of 9. So 7. Okay. Right. Cool. I've recorded
And that doesn't break on his shield. Does that mean it actually strikes his armor?
2 degrees strikes the opponent. Yeah. So the lance breaks on him, and I need to roll 3 dice. Oh no, 4 dice keep 3. Okay, he's still on the saddle. He managed, like, it strikes him. It's a huge blunt of force as this lance smashes around him, and you can see him. His lance itself goes flying, and that's part of why it doesn't actually strike on you. If it had been true, and if you just stayed going, he would have shattered it. But it glances off you as he almost drops it, and you can see him like be thrown back in his saddle as this smashed against his actual armor. There's a big dent in the top right hand like breast of the armor now where you've smacked him. There's a cheer goes up as he like stays in the saddle, but you've served him a big smack in the chest.
Sir Oliver comes in. When he deflects the incoming lance, he does it with a bit of a strange form. He has a copper round shield, like many Dornishmen and Dornish knights use, and he hits the lance from the side. So he's not deflecting right on the point, but off to the side. He almost throws his aim off that way, and it kind of opens his opponent up to being counter-struck in that split second of a moment. And he looks back over his shoulder after he hits him, and he calls out. He's not sure if the knight, the younger man, can hear him over the din of the crowd, but he'll call out, "Sir, are you all right?"
You don't hear anything, but he is moving, and his squire is helping him just like reaffirm his sitting position. And you guys are quite far away, obviously, having kind of gone that way. So again, you're like 100 meters or so, kind of away from each other. You're now on the north side, so he's got that -1 to his animal handling test results for this one, but you're okay for this if you need to make them. We're now down to the second pass, so we need to roll again. How are you riding this time?
So let me ask you this. What am I rolling? Last time I was rolling 6, keep 4. Am I rolling 6, keep 5 now? Or am I rolling, is that how this is?
No, we're still rolling 6, keep 4. So, because the bonus dice you don't keep ever.
It's for animal handling only.
No,
the muddy ground.
Oh yes. So yeah, it's the result itself. So you're adding everything up and then subtracting 1 from the actual result, rather than dice.
This time, having gotten a little bit of the measure of the man, and knowing that even if he's still on his horse, that it was a feat of strength of this young man's part to stay horsed. He doesn't stay braced and low with his center of gravity coming in. Instead, he holds his shield up a little bit higher, and he's got his joust up over the shield, so he's taking a little bit more of a defensive position.
Okay, cool. As you ride up closer, as this gallop gets into a full gallop, just as you head up to him, you can see that he is like locking his knees in, and he is firmly, as firm as he can be, in the saddle of this destrier, and he's braced at this point, ready to just to stay. He's just hoping he can stay in the saddle at least, I think, at this point. All right, but let's roll those tests again.
All right.
So I'm going to take away 2 from this. Ooh.
Cool.
So I rolled a 16. You were in defensive. Did you take a -1 or a -2 to your fighting?
I took 2.
Okay. So both 16s. That does beat his passive ride by 1 degree. But your ride's 18. Passive ride is 18.
It's
right?
17.
17, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a because I'm taking away 2, so it doesn't actually meet the degrees. So it again glances off your shield, but you shatter another lance on his shield. But as a Reacher Knight, he's got one affixed to his arm. It's not one he can move around like yours. Doesn't have any maneuverability, so he's kind of stuck with that. So let's roll that ride test for him to stay in the saddle. This is just a 9, so hopefully, yeah, he's good. So he's ready for this time, and is concentrating on being defensive, the shield, being right in the saddle, and it smashes because of your skill. But he stays quite firmly in the saddle, and you can hear him as he trots off the other side. Yes, fine, thank you. From this
Sir Oliver, just again, he smiles as he passes him by, and he uses the curvature of his shield to again deflect the incoming joust from the side rather than head on. And this is part of his strategy to avoid allowing his opponent to break any lances on his shield.
Cool. And we're over to the 3rd pass now for Sir Oliver. Where'd my page go? Here we go. All right. He rides in, and again, it's a heavy gallop as he rides just that bit quicker, pushes the horse, moves in, leans into the aggressive stance to try and hit you that way. What's your maneuver?
And this time, Sir Oliver knows there's only 2 rounds left, and the crowd always wants Joust to go to at least the 3rd round, and this is the 3rd round. And though he's old and though he's anxious, there's a bit of an old Dornishman's flair in him. And as he gets up close, he looks like he's going to be in that same position as before. And then he pulls his shield back and he kicks up into the side saddle of his horse, and he partially stands up. So he goes high saddle for this one.
Nice. Some real like Dornish cavalry like technique here that's being represented. I love it. It's different tactics. All right, so he's rolling aggressive. I'm gonna add 2 to this, but you only have to hit a 11 to beat his passive ride. So here I go.
All right, I'm going to add just 1 to mine.
Okay. All right, so mine's a 19, which is 1 degree, I think.
And mine is a 19.
Okay, so for his 11 is 2 degrees of success. So again, he has to meet that formidable 12 animal handling test. Well, actually, because you're doing damage, I'm not here going to have him take any wounds or injuries. You defeat him, Dom, by hit points alone. So how do you, not to quote a guy, how do you want to do this? So how do you want to defeat him? How do you want to knock him off his horse?
he's coming in aggressively, and Sir Oliver seems like he's braced defensively until that last moment. And when he kicks up so that he's higher, his joust comes down at an angle over the top of the man's shield, and it clips him in the shoulder. It knocks him back off of his horse and into the dirt, breaking right almost in the exact same spot as that first strike against his armor.
Mm. There's a tear in the armor now. You can see the arming jacket underneath. It's a deep red cotton. As he lies in the muddy side, or in the soft dirt, as his squire now tries to pull him up. His squire is only a lad of about 10, trying to yank this knight up with all the strength he can muster. Mara, they're up on the balcony having witnessed all this, and Sir Oliver has just won his first pass. And you wanted to speak to somebody.
Voice muted. I did actually. Yeah, I want to. So while this is going on, Mara's going to be very excited at the fact that Sir Oliver just won. She probably stands up and claps and is very, very pleased about this. And she'll turn to her husband and make a little bit of small talk there about how wonderful that was. And she will turn to Princess Daenerys and say, "That was an incredible joust, one of the best ones today, I think."
Absolutely, my lady. Very enjoyable. She gives you a smile. There's not a real smile going on kind of behind the eyes. It's not and it's not very attentive. It's not very aggressive even. There's a slight dullness to her voice.
Is that kind of like bored? Kind of.
It's not quite bored, but there's not something that genuine about the smile and the enjoyment for her at the moment that you're getting.
Is there like a table in the back of this tent that's got some drinks and stuff like that on that we could help ourselves to?
Yeah, you could help yourselves. There are two guys stood either side of the wine barrel, like ready to take orders.
I want to try and move her away from this, like from the crowd of people in front of us for a moment to try and talk to her.
You could offer her some wine yourself. There's nothing stopping you.
And I'll turn to her and say, "Your Grace, would you join me for some wine for a moment? There's something actually I'd like to speak to you about, if it's not too much trouble."
I'd love some wine. And she follows you just the back of the balcony to the wine barrel. I guess you give the serving boys a look, and they like, "Oh, all right."
They all know that look that people give them. That's like, bye. even though in Game of Thrones, people just seem to not care that servants are around. It's like they don't exist.
Well, they're not real, so.
I will take down two of the kind of goblets that we have, and I will pour hers first and then pour my own. And I will say genuinely, sincerely, it's such an honor to have you present at our wedding. I thank you so much for attending. This is a bit of a delicate matter, as I'm sure you perhaps might know. My father has unfortunately just passed before he could be here to walk me down the aisle.
I had heard.
It's very confusing, such sadness and joy all in such a short space of time. But I am incredibly concerned for my sister. She is being so graciously warded at Summerhall with your family, which is a wonderful opportunity for her. I'm just so concerned. She's so young, and having just lost her father, she hasn't seen me in years. I would very much like to visit her if that would be at all possible, but I'm not sure who would be best to go through for that. I mean, ideally, I would love to eventually, bring her home here with me, at least for some time. She's just so young. I don't think she understands what's going on.
So yeah, I'll let you go first as well. Again, as your wedding, you got that +2 to charm if you want to use it at some point. From that, but yeah,
She's entirely sincere in all of this. She is genuinely worried about her sister, and is genuinely upset over her father's passing, the thought of her sister dealing with this alone and kind of missing her and missing her family.
Sure.
So I am trying to charm her. I'm trying to get her to almost feel a bit sorry for me and want to listen to this.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to, Chris, before we properly start, just think of your disposition towards her. Bearing in mind you haven't met her much before, if ever, I don't think. Whether you feel it or not personally, you did act against her in the Fyre rebellion. But you are both attractive, so you're both going to get a boost to disposition. So whatever you pick is going to go up by 1, basically.
Okay, so whatever I pick, just up it by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then charm. So that is an 18. 27 in total.
What?
I rolled an 18, plus my disposition went up by 1 because of the thing you just said, plus the 2 for the charm.
21.
Plus persuasion.
No.
No?
No,
okay.
That's not how that works.
Okay. I'm still trying to get to grips with what numbers get added to things. So it's 18. So it's 23 in total then.
So 19 plus the 2, because the 19 you go up by 1 presumably.
Yeah.
And then you get the plus 2 from being your wedding day, so it's a 21.
21. So I don't add the disposition.
Not the DR, no. You add the persuasion modifier in the final column.
Yeah, that's what I added.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay, Barmy. Ignore me. All right. Coolio. Did you roll any 1s?
I don't think so.
Just checked. They're all good. All right. So this action you're doing is to influence her?
Yeah, I kind of want her to feel sorry for me and want to kind of at least listen to what I have to say. Make her feel like perhaps like there's something that she could offer, whether that's comfort or help, or that she wants to hear what it is I want.
Sure. All right. Let me grab her. She's not there. Where is she? Martel. There we go. Awesome. Let me show her to you. Just for you to get a bit of context of who she is. So, you are talking to the king's sister. She was born about 19 years after her brother. And was had a twin brother who was stillborn. All right, cool. So her mother was Queen Nerys, and Nerys was the queen of the really, really awful Aegon IV, who was just terrible at everything. Had adulterous relationships all over the Seven Kingdoms. At the time of her birth, Daenerys' brother Daeron, so the current king, was already married to one of the Martell princesses, Maria Martell. So she got betrothed to the Prince of Dawn, and that was brokered by her brother, King Daeron, as part of a treaty to bring Dawn into the realm. She really is the chess piece that got moved so that Dawn became a member of the Seven Kingdoms. It was King Daeron's big play. But it's said that Daenerys and Daemon Blackfyre were in love. And that is a rumor that has circulated across the realms. It's notable that Daemon didn't rebel for another 8 years after her wedding, and that Princess Daenerys is not recorded to have ever mourned the loss of her half-brother. And Daemon was married to Rohan of Tyrosh already by the time he rebelled too. So there's a lot of gossip surrounding them. And it's certainly one of those enduring things that history might record as a possible reason, even though it might not be true itself. But I provide you with that context. So, sister of the king and possible lover of Daemon Blackfire. But when Prince Maron Martell took her to wife, he built the water gardens for her in Sunspear. And she was the one who one day took pity on the children, the servants, and the guards, and allowed them to all play in the pools with the Highborn. And that's a tradition that has been kept up a little bit over the months.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she's quite a Gatarian as well. It's quite cool. All right. So influence. We're going to influence her. So what is your persuasion rank?
4.
4. So let me check her intrigue defense. And what did you roll? This was a 21, wasn't it?
Something like that, I think. I struggle with the math sometimes.
Yeah, me too, mate. But it's 2 degrees of success. So that is a whole 8 of your composure damage, essentially. So I'm going to take this off her. Alrighty. Cool. So she's coming round to you. She's warming to you. There's a little bit more, not of a smile, but certainly of attentiveness and of being present with you. And she's very sorry to hear all of that. Obviously, she was very much aware of your father's death, and that it was very good of Solariver to take you into the Sept, to take his place. She as well is going to be quite charming, and I'm going to roll a charm for you here. So this is going to be 11 versus your intrigue defense.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 degree of success. So she is going to apply 3 points of damage to your composure. Check your disposition. If your DR is 3 or more, you're going to ignore any of that. So just take any of that away.
Is that including the disposition being stepped up from the beginning because of the starting disposition stuff?
Yeah, so you picked a disposition.
Yeah.
I forced you up by 1, so that's where you're at the moment.
Okay, so I take
the
1 point of composure damage then.
Okay, cool. Fine. And it's back over to you. Have a little look at your other actions you can do as well. And it's worth having a read through these as well if you get a chance between jousts and stuff too. Because there's a fair amount you can do. Reading target is a great thing.
We could read out a couple on air for people who aren't familiar in chat as well. So
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So consider is nice. Consider basically lets you hold your action for an exchange, but you get 2 bonus dice to then roll. So you can be like, oh, okay, that's very interesting, and then just wait, and then you get some more because you've thought about it. You get some more oomph for your test later on. Influence is straight up trying to deal some composure damage to people, and I really enjoy the intrigue side of the game because it's a bit like combat but wordsy. So there's armor and there's hit points and there's like damage that you can do, stuff like that. So influence is you doing damage to the other person's composure. Once their composure reaches 0, then you have persuaded them or got them to do the thing you want, or got whatever you want out of it. So that's what you need to do to knock her down, Fee. Manipulate's always fun. If you beat or equal your opponent's passive will result with a persuasion test, then you can decide what technique they use. So you can manipulate her to try and bargain with you, to try and taunt, to try and intimidate, like stuff like that. Like you can basically make her do certain techniques if you wanted to.
Cool.
You can heal as well. That's mollify. So you can literally try and be like, there, and then she gets more composure back. It's helpful if you've got more people in the same intrigue and you're like helping out allies and stuff. Read target is fantastic. So you make an awareness test with empathy bonus dice against what would be her passive deception result. If you equal or beat that result, then you learn her current disposition, and you get +1 dice on all deception and persuasion tests for the rest of the intrigue.
Cool. Okay, in that case, I might read target then. I want to see where she's sitting at. Is she genuinely interested in me carrying this on, or is she just being really polite because it's a sad story?
Yeah, definitely.
Does my empathy specialty help with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So click that. So I rolled 14.
It's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. You don't. She is certainly hiding behind Grace's, and the breeding that she's been taught at court. It's very good. Like, she is a member of the royal family, so she's had this kind of etiquette literally her entire life. So she's not really putting a foot wrong here. Even down to matching, because you're the bride, you're the newlywed bride. Like, if you drink, she drinks after. She waits for you. Like, even matching down to those little bits.
Wow.
She stood all in the right place.
She's good.
She's
I
good.
like her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay. I'm trying to think of roleplay. I've really not in the right frame of mind for it tonight. I'm gonna try and mollify you. Let me just do it mechanically. So she's gonna try manipulate you a bit. So she's I imagine talking a bit around Summerhall. She's trying to prod and prick a little bit about where that is for you. Like, talk about your sister a little bit, or talk about her nephew Makar, or like talk about the court there and the Dornishmen. Like, where's this at, kind of thing, to try and goad you into doing something particular. So this is to so I need to know your will times 4.
Oh, my will times 4 is 12.
Okay, so I need to roll a 12 or better. Let me just, so she's taunting, actually, like in the subtlest of ways. She's mentioning like the wardship. Oh, camera's gone. I hope she's still here. Hello. We can't hear you anymore either.
Someone just came in, sorry.
No, that's okay. So she's taunting you a little bit. So she's this whole like prodding and stuff. It's a little invasive, and it's about kind of, she's trying to get like where this is for you, And there's these little words I think about your sister, and they're polite, but like they're not particularly nice. I think that's where she's going with it. That's where I'm going with it in my head. I'm probably just fluffing all of this, but still. Right, okay. It says taunting is risky.
Is it kind of like she's poking to see if actually underneath it all I'm not being quite as genuine as I might sound? It's that kind of
I think she's trying to find like what she can use, maybe.
Okay.
She's picking a little bit out of like I think she's focusing on Miria, about how much it's about how she must be feeling there, not being at home, and such a young girl, and it's so hard, and like she's kind of like it's trying to be empathetic, but she's clearly like just prodding.
Okay, so have I heard the stories about the water garden and her letting the children play with the noble children?
Yeah.
In that case, I want to.
I haven't rolled anything yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I haven't rolled anything. Right. I'm just doing this. Oh wow, she's alright. She's alright. This one. Keep 4. Yeah. Alrighty. This is against your passive will. So, all right. So she is going to make you try and bargain with her next round. So that's the technique you have to use. The action's different though. So you have to use bargain as your like specialty dice. But you could use shield of reputation. You could use retarget again.
What if I don't have bargain as a thing?
So you'll still use that technique, but you won't get any bonus dice from it.
Right. Okay. I'm going to try and influence her using that story that I've heard about the kids in the water garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do, yeah, she must feel very, very alone in terms of her family, losing her father and then not having her brothers and her sisters around her. It must be incredibly scary for her. I'm sure that, she's kept incredibly well at Summerhall. I wouldn't expect anything less. But, she's a child. She should see her family. She should have time to properly mourn with them. And I have heard such wonderful stories. That's why I was so wanted to talk to you. I heard about the children in the water garden in Dawn, and just how gracious and kind you were to those children who just needed, the chance to be happy and play as children without those divides. I was just hoping that perhaps you would show such compassion for a young girl who has lost so much so quickly through no fault of her own. We women, we don't have the power that makes these things happen. At least I don't. People like me don't. Of course you do, but she's had no say in anything that's happened to her, and she's lost so much. I'm going to try and play on that kind of that clear like for children that she's obviously got from what she did, and that a little bit on the, we're women, no matter where we sit, we're never quite entirely responsible for the things that happen to us.
Yeah. So you're saying all this towards the end. She's asking, well, everyone at the water gardens and at Sunspear has value, brings value to the court. I wonder where Lady Mara would bring value to the court. And this is the manipulation.
Wait, Lady Mara or Lady Miria?
Mara, of where the bargaining is coming in, so because she's making you use bargain. So I want to know what could you be offering her?
I guess there's a sense of Mara is the eldest, the eldest daughter of House of House Greenmont, and I now have access to House Oakhart. I will eventually take over as lady of this household one day. So I guess there's kind of an allegiance thing. That this would really help cement the future of House Oakhart into the debt of the Targaryens, and I guess there's a little bit of personal debt there as well, in terms of I've come to you. I haven't come to the crown as a whole. I've come to you, and therefore I will owe you something. She's kind of playing on that, the undertones of I'm almost asking you for a favor, and therefore I'm in your debt.
Yeah. I do get it. Sorry, I'm listening. My cat's playing with something.
It's okay. I will never be mad at you paying attention to your cats, Sam. They're adorable.
The camera alone. Okay, so I would like you to roll bargain then for me. Is this another influence, or are you going for a different action?
No, I'm going to go for influence.
Okay, cool.
I don't have bargain, so is that just persuasion?
Just your straight persuasion. Yeah.
Okay. 14. I don't know if I add anything to that. I think it's just 14.
Well, so look at your disposition.
Yeah.
And check the persuasion modifier on that.
So it's +3.
Okay, so add 3 to that.
So 14. 17. I can do math.
That is 1 degree of success.
Do I get +2 because it's my wedding?
Yes. No, that's charm.
That's charm. Okay.
So yeah, so that is 1 degree of success. So your persuasion. So bargain. Sorry, a bargain might come under something else. Cunning. What is your cunning rank?
Oh, my cunning rank is 3.
Okay. So 3 means you do 3 points to her. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. It is back over to her, and she is going to intimidate. And she presses the point about staying loyal to the crown and loyal to the Targaryen family, wherever we might be, because as history shows, fire and blood follows swiftly if the dragons are wronged. It's very quiet, very calm intimidation, but she is clearly not a person to be messed with. And she's got Blood of Valyria, so she gets +2 to that. Okay. And that's 15 against your intrigue defense.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 degree. And that intimidate is will rank, so 4. Is that 1 degree of success?
Yes. My intrigue defense is 10.
That's 2 degrees of success.
Oh, okay, 2 degrees.
So 10 to 14, and then 15 is the next degree.
Oh, I forget that's how it.
Yeah, soz.
It's not just 5. That's fine.
Okay, so take 8 composure damage.
Is that reduced by the disposition?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's this many. Right.
You've not been defeated yet, no?
No, not yet.
All right, back over to your turn.
Oh. Something happened, but I'm not sure what. Okay, that's weird.
They're still with us, so it's okay.
My character sheet's doing a weird thing. I think I've put something in a wrong box somewhere, but it's fine. I want to go in and influence her again.
Sure.
So she makes this kind of threat, and Mara will be like, I had no say in the side that my father picked in the war. I am a highborn woman, but I am no princess. I am no queen. I did as I was honor bound to do by my father. Now I am honor bound to do by my husband. A house that has supported the Targaryen reign. I will support the Targaryen reign. I would be indebted to you for anything that you could help me with. Our house, my house, may have made mistakes. My father may have made mistakes, and I don't have to love him for those. I loved him because he was my father, not because I agreed with every decision that he ever made. Possibly the worst decision he ever made was to go against you and your kin. But my loyalties run deep. And my loyalties are founded on people that show compassion and show care, as your family has done for my sister at Summerhall. Far worse could have happened to her had you not warded her. I have no reason to betray your family or the crown. I just want my sister to be able to mourn properly and be with the people that love her, as I'm sure you would wish for any of your kin to be with you should something terrible like this happen to them. She's only a child. I beg you. And she's really playing on that, this isn't a power play. I just want to see my sister.
Nice. That was juicy. I'm going to give you 2 bonus dice for that.
Yeah. I can do sob stories, Sam.
What's this technique? Is this convince? Is this bargain again? Because you're saying about this debt?
Sorry, I've clicked a thing and I didn't mean to. Scrolling. Right. I feel like this is convince, because there is a genuineness to this. I didn't have any part to play in my father's decision to go to war on whichever side. And it's absolutely true that even if she felt differently, there was nothing she could do. She was honor bound. And, she is now honor bound to support the Targaryens because she's married into this house. But also she's almost kind of saying, there's no part of me that wants to not support you. If anything, this only cements the fact that my supporting you isn't just this marriage. It's because I have put my faith in the right person. I haven't made the mistakes of my father. So
that's pretty sweet. Have you got any bonus dice in Convince?
I do. I have 1 bonus dice in Convince.
So you'll be rolling 3 bonus dice plus all your keep dice. So let me have a look. Let me have a look at your sheet. Hang on.
Okay. I've also definitely put something in wrong in composure because my composure is not that high.
This is all fine.
I don't know how that's happened. Yeah. Okay. I know what I'm at. It's fine.
Cool. All right. So this is persuasion, which is 4. So you're going to be rolling 7 dice, keeping 4.
Okay. Can I do that from the sheet, or do I have to type it in?
If you up your convince to 3 for now.
Okay.
For this one, then you can roll it.
Cool. I'll drop it back down again.
Yeah.
18.
I didn't see that. Oof. Let me look at my sheet.
Are there any 1s there? Have I got any 1s? There is 1.
Oh, roll a d6.
I'm going to put the command in the right way this time. 3.
3.
So that bring it up to 20?
No, so it's not going to beat the 4 that you've kept.
Right, okay. Oh, yeah, of course.
It's going to replace one of these. So that's fine. So that is an 18.
18.
Plus the modifier from your disposition, which I believe is 3.
Yeah, so it's 21.
That is 2 degrees of success. And will, what's your will?
My will is 3.
All right. I'm going to let you have this one. So she is convinced. She comes round to your way of thinking. Consequences of defeat with convince means that you don't do anything to improve her disposition. Instead, convince gets them to support your position or grant you assistance. So what exact assistance would you want from her?
She's going to basically go back to the idea that, what she'd really like, is to see her sister, but ultimately to be able to look after her sister here. That's kind of where she wants to get. She wants to bring her family home to her. And if she has to kind of play that still card of, we were just children and women that had to support whatever our father said. I want to bring her here. I want to show her the grace that you've given. I want my sister home with me.
So she'll support you in that endeavor, basically. So let me write that down.
Yay! Oh God, that went so much better than I thought it was going to go. I had horrible visions of Dragonfire, Sam.
Right, cool. All right. So while I'm noting this down, Marzia, let us figure some stuff out with you. You wanted to speak to Lana, I believe, to start talking about sending some ravens out to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, having dressed and kind of prepared for the day, she'll go down to the hall for breakfast, and she's going to hope that Lana's there.
She is.
Handy. Convenient. I like it. And she's brought with her the half-finished note that said Babblebrook had begun for Myria. 3M.
Even we get it wrong.
For Myria. And she'll bring that down and she'll sit next to Lana and wish her a good morning.
Good morning. So she was pretty preoccupied, but she's kind of out of the daze there. Speak to you.
Are you well this morning?
Yes. And if you're stood, then she's suddenly like, oh, and she forgets that she has to stand.
Oh, it's fine. You can finish eating.
So she sits back
You're
down.
also a lady green one, Lana.
Yes, I suppose so. I should fight you for the chair.
I hope you won't.
I'm joking.
I'm glad. And Marzia will take a seat kind of next to Lana. Kind of relieved that Lana seems to be in normal spirits. Nothing strange beyond normal Lana.
Yeah, looking at a glance at her neck's not up. She seems fine in herself. So there is that.
I began a letter to Miria that I was hoping you could help me finish.
But my dear, you can't read.
No.
Well, that's fine. I can finish it for you.
Yes, I thought you might like to send word to your niece.
Yeah, very
Perhaps
much
one
so.
of the puzzling codes that Greenwants are so fond of.
The codes.
Children like games.
Children shouldn't be talking about games.
Not certain games.
No. Well, if you are to sit the chair, then let's at least teach you the game. So she actually gets you to sit next to her on the trestle table. And she starts pointing out what she's doing, and she's saying, so it's all in the Y's, you see, my dear. And apart from that, what did you think, Charlie, like, what could be part of the code stuff?
I was thinking definitely the Y's, and I think there's another letter as well that they change, and it causes the word to be reversed. So, like, if there's a D in it, you hit the D and then you reverse the word because it's not a straight cipher then.
Nice.
Unless you know that the D shifts the entire word.
Yeah, as much as I run a spy game, I am terrible at ciphers, like legit awful at
But
puzzles
I think
and
it's
stuff
kind
like
of
that.
something like that. It relies on like the Y's and the D's, and
Yeah.
it's probably like small other like little things. Like if there's two F's in a word, you got to add something else.
So like the flick of the Y as well sends you on like a direction and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to being like acrostic. So then once you figured all that out, you go back and you look down the first letter of each line, and that tells you something else.
I like Susie's in chat, like, thanks, George. Yeah, like, I only thought about this, like, before we came on, and I was just like, yes, George, this is it, mate.
Finally, George.
Yeah.
So I think between them, they'll figure out this cipher, and the little cipher for Miria is something fairly simple, just something genuinely personal. I miss you. I hope to see you at home soon. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then Marcia's going to raise that she wants to write another note.
Okay.
One that she wants to keep between Lana and herself.
Okay.
An address for Sir Oliver.
Where should we send it to?
Well, I'm presuming at present he's at Oak Hall. And hopefully our scouts are smart enough to figure out where he would have gone from there if they don't cross paths in the middle. I've already sent one letter. But I have a riddle for Sir Oliver.
I'm not very good at riddles.
It's alright, I have the riddle, I just need you to decipher it.
Oh, okay.
What Dornish raider raids, but doesn't steal, only kills? And then I would like to ask him if he has seen any vultures.
Okay.
I know it is cryptic, but I didn't want to have to explain it to Sir Babblebrook and have him babble it all around the hall as he tried to figure it out.
He's good at that. Babbling. And brooking.
And brooking. Sometimes he says clever things, wise things.
Often not.
Often not. It's all in the Y's and the D's. And sometimes the F's.
all in the wise. Cool. All right. Thank you for that. So she makes the arrangements to get those sent off. You guys don't have a little rookery like a Maester's Tower type thing.
He's gonna get one of the scouts, one of our few remaining scouts, just to be an outrider basically, and just send them.
Yeah.
Head to Oak Hall.
Yeah.
If you cross the Rolliver on the way, that's the dude you're looking for.
Yeah. You'll know what he looks like. It's fine.
Look out for him or Red Rob. Like those are the two people.
Yeah. And these guys are called the couriers, so they're doing the job. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. Nice riddle. I like it. I think it's cool. Okay. Speaking of Sir Oliver, your match has come. Down the other end of the lists, you see your brother. Horatio wears a charred black scale armor with a thin yellow Dornish cloak wrapped around his neck and trailing behind him to show his house emblem. Your house emblem. The portcullis, the black portcullis of House Ironwood. His helmet is a turbaned helmet, much like yours, with a pointed top. And the face guard is a carved, like one of those molded faces themselves, with the two eye slits. And it's up at the moment. So there's this kind of there's already this nervous tension around the actual stands themselves. These two Ironwood knights, and you being the Dawn in Exile. There is this kind of palpable. From the people who don't know, they're like, what is going on here? The people that do have an understanding of just what this kind of courtly intrigue stuff was about with you being exiled are like, this is going to be juicy. Like, we're going to see some like rivalries figured out today. The ground is even worse now that we've had pass after pass after pass into the afternoon. And so this is going to be a -2 to all of your animal handling tests to stay in the saddle. It's really tough ground. It's really been churned up. It's still very soft.
Is there any advantage to one side or the other?
It's all been properly torn up now. So it's just this is going to be a flat -2 penalty to your test results across just for animal handling.
That doesn't affect my passive?
No. Okay. Just to stay in the saddle. And again, if you crit fail, so if you fail by 5 or more for that, trying to stay in the saddle, the horse goes in under you. Horatio walks his horse out casually towards the center of the grounds. Just trots out, his hips and upper body swaying as he goes, and waits for you in the middle.
Sir Oliver leans over to Red Rob, his squire, and speaks under his breath. Hand me my black lances, but get the other ready. And he had told him that one of his practice lances was collared, painted differently. Most of his lances are painted black. But there is one other one that he has been keeping hidden from public view that's just painted differently. And he's just instructing him to get that lance ready for when he wants it drawn. Okay.
Is that a simple tourney lance like the others?
It is a simple tourney lance.
Okay, cool.
It just a different paint job is all. And then he'll hop up onto the back of his Dornish sandsteed and he'll trot out. He does not have a face mask on. He has the turban, but his face is exposed to the public. And again, he smiles up at Mara where she sits and he waves his hand, and from his gauntlet, you can see the green handkerchief that she gave him just kind of flapping in the wind. And after flashing a smile, he turns his attention to his brother and he holds his smile, but it's tense. It's a tighter smile. His teeth are actually touching each other, upper and lower set, as he reaches the center to greet his brother.
Okay. your brother gives you that smile that creeps out of the side of one half of his face. Slightly rough shaven, slightly hungover look underneath his eyes. It says, "To fight you again, brother. This time not babes in the yard, but men. Men with old blood in their veins, ready to enact some justice."
Is that what you are doing here, brother? Enacting justice? I have not heard from you in so long. It is a shame we must meet here for the first time in 20 years. On the field.
He roars with laughter and then just says, "For justice, I'm just having fun." And he turns his horse and he starts to trot away.
He begins humming a song under his breath. I don't think anyone in the crowd would hear it, but maybe his brother would. And it would be a well-known war song, one that was sung by the troops, the marching troops of Daemon Blackfyre. And he's just watching him as he trots away to see if he reacts visibly.
He turns back. You see his face in that same smile as he chuckles and then carries on, turns back to take his position at the top of the ground.
And Sir Oliver turns back too, and his horse waves to the crowd and touches his gauntlet to his black copper breastplate, just in a show of flair. Even though many in the crowd hate him, there are still others who, maybe the older folks in the crowd, have been around long enough to have seen Sir Oliver in his prime.
Yeah.
And this is the same motion that he would have made as a young man, even though he's old now. And he trots back to his side of the field.
Yeah. Cool. All right, and we prepare for the first pass. Okay. You're heralded again. The Black Lance, the Dawn in Exile, and your brother, Sir Horatio Ironwood, is heralded simply as that, or kind of Ironwood. And he gets past a lance, the same sandy colour, with little black circles at the top and at the very tip, and takes it ready. He's got one of the Dawners shields that he's actually got to his forearm, so he's got some maneuverability there. And then he kicks his horse and sets off into a gallop. As you come to meet in the middle, you see that he is actually quite disciplined, and he is holding firm and just keeping his shield ready, and is actually riding defensively.
And Sir Oliver, having fought, this isn't his second fight. They've all done multiple rounds. Is this like the final now?
Yeah, they've done a few, and this is the final.
This is the final round of the tournament.
Yeah.
Sir Oliver knows how bad the ground has gotten, and so he's actually lowered his center of gravity and wrapped his legs tightly, pressing his knees up against the saddle so that he can keep to the back of the horse as well as he can. If he does get hit, hopefully he won't go off. And I'm going to do braced, and I'm going to do it with subtracting 2 from my fighting score.
Okay, cool. Let me grab the combat page again. Sorry, just 1 second. Just building the tension. Cool, so defensive. I'm going to apply a +2 to my passive animal handling. All right, so let's roll.
All right.
So I'm going to take... take 2 from this. 16.
Yeah. 15.
So that's 15, yeah, because so I had to apply my modifier, but you've done it there. 15. Defensive is passive. Your lance glances on his shield as he brushes it away, just as he goes past. What is the 16? Doesn't meet your.
That is also a miss.
Cool.
So simultaneously, he turns his wrist aside and uses the curvature of the shield, and his brother's lance also glances off the side of his shield.
Yeah, just tipping the pauldron as it goes past, and as you there's a little hit from the crowd. There's this little sudden rush. And then nothing. Both knights pass, and there's no kind of strong hit. No one's taken aback or anything like that. So you guys are ready for the second pass. As he kicks his horse into a gallop again, you focus on him, and as again towards you meet in the middle. Again, he's riding defensively.
And this time, as he passes around the side there, he hands his lance to his squire, and he says, "Now is the time, Rob." And Rob hands him another wooden tourney lance. This one is painted red with just a few thinner stripes of black around the lance. There is more red than there is black. And for anyone well-versed in the courts, they might understand the significance of that color.
Oh my god. Is it Blackfire colors?
And I'm going to ride eyes fixed.
Okay. So you go apply +1 to your fighting test.
And I'm going to use my anointed ability here.
Okay.
So this is because he was anointed as Kingsguard briefly in the war. He gets a +5 for this round to his combat defense and all of his passive scores.
So your passive ride's going to go up by 5.
It's going to go to 22.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty. So let's roll him. I'm going to take 2 from this again. So no, not at all. A critical failure. So actually, it's a glancing blow. Pretty much misses you.
Mine was not good either.
So 13 for the fighting test. Doesn't beat his passive ride. But it's not a critical failure. So you get a glancing blow again on his shield as he's focused and he's very disciplined. Knocks the blow out of the way. There is a strike of the shield again. And Mara, you see, but both knights pass and nothing comes of the actual tilt there itself. Daenerys has got a look in her eyes of fire and blood as she watches Sir Oliver make this pass. And now, the third tilt. As you kick your horses into a gallop, you see him push forward a little bit in his saddle, and his lance lowers, starts to aim towards you. I'm not actually going to say, because he's not actually making one of these maneuvers here. What would you like to do in terms of your riding style?
He is going to not exchange his lance, keep the same lance that he has now, and he's going to stay at the same speed, start at the same speed he was before, but then he leans forward and he speaks a word under the din of the crowd, and as he does, the horse pushes up, explodes with a little bit faster of a run now than it had before at his word. He is going to go aggressive.
Cool. Okay.
and I'm going to go +2.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to roll here. If you could roll first for me, Don.
Absolutely.
Then I'll roll.
24.
Nice. That is 3 degrees of success. So he is going to have to make a hard 15 difficulty animal handling test or be unhorsed. I know he's taking -2 off of that. Don, as he strikes you, he strikes true, aims towards your neck. What is your combat defense?
My combat defense. Oh, so he's cheating, is he?
What's
Right.
your combat defense?
I'm checking it out. My combat defense is an 8.
Okay. So I think that's 18 is 3, 22 is 3 degrees of success. So you take damage as normal. Animal handling.
Or is that just 2 degrees of success?
For me, or maybe so 2 degrees. So your combat defense is an 8.
8.
So
yeah.
5 more of that. 13 would be 2 degrees. 18 would be 3 degrees, and 23 would be 4 degrees. So he's done 3.
Okay.
So as he strikes you in the neck. This is going to be like a full damaging blow. So it smashes around your neck area. It is going to do 24 points of damage.
So 24 points of damage would be is that an injury or a wound?
So if that reduces your health to 0, that means he has defeated you. But it's not a normal tourney defeat. I get to decide how he's defeated you.
So I have a thing. If I go down to 0, berserk, and I can make a check to see if I stay up, and I can also counterattack him immediately.
Okay. It needs to make a choice at the moment. So what you can do is, if you want to ignore all of this damage, you can take a wound. You will ignore all of it, but you'll be at -1 dice to all of your tests.
Until I recover from the wound, which takes time.
Like a week or a month or something stupid, yeah.
I'm not going down. No, I'll take the wound. He sees it at the last second. He sees the lance coming up towards his neck. He knows that his brother will be disqualified. He knows it. He knows that he will be the winner even if he drops down. He believes, anyways, he'll still win even if he gets unhorsed. But instead, he wraps more tightly around his horse, takes the wound, and he's going to counterattack, I guess. I mean, I scored a 24, so does that hit? That's my counterattack, basically.
So this is a normal jousting thing for you. So this is 3 degrees of success against his passive ride. So like I said, he's going to have to make a difficulty 15 test. I want you to make the same test for animal handling. You're going to take -2 off the whole result once you've totaled it all up. Just to stay in the saddle, just to see what happens here. So he take away 2, just as you strike him as well. Striking your opponent, as we've got in the actual result table here, isn't a disqualification to strike somebody. It's really going to come down to what the judges think of how he struck you. That they'll see whether that's an actual kind of disqualification type thing. Young tourney knights die at these things. Sometimes these things happen. So you think well, the crowd sees Mara. You see Horatio gallop towards, just starting to stay on his horse, just as he gets towards the end of the actual fence, towards the end of the tilt area. Like, he actually falls. That is a fall. So he's off his horse. I need you to roll that animal handling test for me. You need to get a 15.
Do I get a 15 or a 12? He only got 2 degrees of success against my animal handling.
I'm going to make it because against your combat defense.
I got it.
-2 for the ground.
Oh. I didn't get it.
Okay, so again, just you think you gripped on, just you get towards the end of the run, you fall onto one leg. You're actually like you've managed to control how you've fallen, and you're stood at the other end of the list, and as you trying to kind of recover, as you turn, as this like pain around your collarbones and neck, you turn. Horatio is charging you down with a Dornish spear. It's gone to ground. It's gone to melee. As the end of the tournament.
Sir Oliver's choking, got like a shard of wood in his throat, and he barks over to Rob. My Albert, now, boy, now.
Red Rob rushes around, scrabbles through all the lances, tries to find the weapon. Like this clearly isn't ready. Like most of these took, like, because they're saying they go down to the judges. Most of these previous ones have been fine, but because this is the final, like they need a proper knockout. So he's not quite been ready for this. Like, oh shit, where is it? Finally grabs you the halberd. It gets into your hands just as Horatio is on you. So I need you to roll for me agility and quickness. Bonus dice will apply.
And he's waiting. He's not impatient. He's not watching Rob. He knows his squire will either get him his weapon or he won't. He has his hand out ready. He's pulling that wood out from his neck, and he throws it on the ground. He's still got the green Mont handkerchief dangling from his gauntlet, and he's leaned back despite the fact that he's wearing mail. He's shifted back, he's bent his knees, he's lowered his center of gravity, and as soon as Rob brings him the halberd, he's ready to spring. He is fast for an old man.
Okay.
It's a 20.
Bear in mind you're at -1 dice for that injury.
Oh, so
for that wound.
Right.
What's the lowest of those? So your agility is normally 4.
Yeah. So should I be
So
rolling?
we'll take a 4 off of that, as that's one of your lower die. So that would be 6, 6, and a 4. So a 16. He rolls an 11. You are still quicker than him, so you get the first turn.
All right.
So all of the combat actions you can take, you've got 2 actions to do basically. Some things take the whole round to do; they're a greater action. A standard attack is only one of those 2 actions, but you can only take 1 attack action per turn. Per turn. So you couldn't attack twice, for example.
So. Knowing that he's more hurt than his brother is right now, because he didn't try to wound his brother, he just tried to win.
Yeah.
Let me just so I know how mad he is. Did his brother fall off of his horse before he fell off of his own horse? Because pride matters to Sir Oliver.
You don't know this right now, as you were preoccupied falling off your own horse and trying to control that and get up. And
he's pretty sure his brother fell first. But regardless. Knowing that he's more wounded right now, his immediate concern is trying to hurt his brother and slow him down so that they're more on an even keel. He doesn't know how good of a fighter Horatio is. So, is there difference between like certain kinds of attacks, or is just like a standard attack like your base? Is there like a heavier attack or anything like that?
Yeah. So, so 2 weapon attack, simply other offhand quality. Not really. Standard attack is you rolling your fighting test with your specialty dice that apply, and then applying the damage based on the degrees of success. We can do some more slightly more complicated stuff. So I know the crit stuff, so we can bring that in. But you could do stuff. So you could do a cautious attack. So you take a -1 dice penalty, but you increase your combat defense by 3. You can try and disarm him. So its difficulty is equal to his passive fighting, so that's quite hard to do. You can try and distract. You could try. This is all on like page 174 and onwards. You can try and knock him down. You can try and knock him out. So you can maneuver as well. So -1 dice on all tests for the round. But you can maneuver him 1 yard per degree of success. Reckless attack. You subtract 5 from your combat defense, but gain a +1 dice to your fighting test.
Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna go reckless in this first round. So he gets his weapon first, and he launches off of his back feet. He looked like he was in a defensive crouch position, but instead he springs off of his back foot and he swings his halberd from up to down across his body, trying to inflict a heavier wound.
Sure.
And that'll cancel out my wound penalty, right? Basically.
Not quite. So you'll roll another dice. So your normal. So what's your normal fighting? How many dice are you normally rolling?
5 and then 3 bonus dice.
So you'll be rolling 8. So roll 9, and then you normally keep 5, right?
But if I go reckless, I would keep an extra one.
You would, but you've got the wound, so you still keep 5. So, it cancels it out. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But you still roll that extra.
26.
Jeez. How many 6s? 2. Okay. So you get a +1 to your base damage. So what's your halberd's normal damage?
My halberd's normal damage is 8, so 9.
Yeah, so 9 and a combat defense of what's he got? A spear. So combat defense of 7. That's like 4 degrees, right? 17, 22. Yeah. Okay, so Horatio's going to take a wound. Just to cancel out all that damage. Because that would have been a ton. So yeah, you've sliced up across and underneath, and he wasn't prepared for that. This was more of a straight lunge from him. And it cracks all along from his waist up, all along the scale that's on his chest, and you can feel it cut. And he sidesteps, trying to move with the blow, but it cuts into him as he takes that wound, and you can see a bit of blood spill, and even from the stands, Mara, there's a little splatter as he steps to the side. Okay, so he is going to make this spear attack. He spins it around in one hand, the other not quite working as quick as he wants, and as he pulls his other hand onto the bottom of the tilt, tries to smack you around the leg. This is just going to be a standard attack, but it's going to cut, hopefully, the upper leg. Oh man, what's my fighting stuff? So, rolling 8 usually. But he's only keeping 4 from the in the wound he's got. Okay, 21 with your combat. What's against your combat defense there?
So my combat defense after reckless attack is 3.
Whoa. Okay, so that is 4 degrees again, I think.
Mhm.
So he is going to deal. Damage is 5. So he's going to deal 20 points of damage to you, which would take you out unless you take another wound.
I will take another wound, which will trigger my Berserk ability, which allows me to immediately counterattack him.
Okay. This cuts through your upper leg armor, and it stings and burns.
So as his leg is cut, Sir Oliver's smile is more like a grimace, and there's blood on his teeth, and he's pulling in closer to his brother, and he tries to jab the halberd straight up. It's low to the ground. He tries to basically jab it up so that his edge cuts beneath the mask that his brother's wearing and into his chin.
Okay.
And this one will be with this.
As you try, your leg gives way. This stinging from the wound is actually a burning, and you can hear a hissing down on your leg. You're going to take a -1 dice to your agility and endurance tests.
Okay.
But you are still up.
Does it? Let me ask you, because I'm a Dornishman. Does this feel like poison?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're taking those minus dice there. Okay. Whoa. So
That's 4. That is 4 crits.
that
4
is
6.
like literally 4 6s. Let me consult my crazy table of crits. That is massive, man. There's 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
You're one off a killing blow. Marcia. You cripple your opponent with a dreadful wound. In addition to the damage dealt, your target gains 1 wound. So he's now on 2 wounds.
And what's his combat defense?
Combat defense is 7.
So 12, 17, 20. He takes 3 degrees of success, which is going to be a total of 24 damage.
Okay. He is going to take 1 final wound. And he is getting absolutely cut up. He goes to 1 knee, but he whips the shaft of the spear down so it's very close to him and tries to dig up towards you.
I get another attack.
No
That was
way.
my counterattack.
That's your counterattack. Oh man. Right,
Yeah.
so roll your normal attack then.
So after he jabs this halberd into his chin and pulls it out, the blood squirting the ground, he pushes his brother back. He spins his body around and brings the halberd across his body to try to hopefully finish him off.
Okay.
$14.
So it is 2 degrees of success.
That is 16 damage.
I'm going to let you defeat him. You have a choice here with defeat. You can kill him. You can knock him out. We can even get it so that he has to take the black. You can maim him as well. So it really is up to you what you want to do with Horatio at this point.
This final blow, as he's bringing it across his body, it looks like it's going to come in at the side, but at the last moment, Oliver drops his knees low and sweeps him instead so that it takes his feet up off the air, and the back of his head, his helmet cracks against the ground just to knock him out.
Okay.
And then he stands up leaning on his halberd, panting.
And that burning coming from your outer thigh is still hissing and is still just weakening that leg, as even Mara in the stands can see that it's shaking. The crowd has been with us the whole time. There's been shocked expression, oohs and ahs, and cries, and a couple of cheers as you batter each other. But ultimately now it's silent until Lord Leo stands and says, "My lords and ladies, your champion, Sir Oliver Ironwood." And there is a smattering of cheers, polite claps from the nobles stand, as you stagger back to Red Rob, I imagine. You are the Knight Marshal that's at your end takes your brings you a wreathed crown. So it's just a little wreath of flowers to give to the Queen of Love and Beauty, whoever you deem her to be in this tournament, and that's up to you.
Sir Oliver will take the crown, and he feels the burning in his legs. He knows that he needs medical attention. And slowly, proudly, trying to keep his chin up, even though he's staggering, he'll make his way up into the seats with the crown, and he will lay it before, or kneel before Mara and offer it up to her and say, "For your father, Lady Mara, and for Houses Greenmont and the Houses Oakhart."
Mara will take the crown and she will lean down, not caring for her, the fine silk dress she's wearing, and hug him under his arms and kind of pull her to him, and then just start waving somebody over to come and get him and help him. And she's angry and she's in tears. She's both glad that he's won and pissed off that he used a Blackfire lance, especially after what she just had with the princess. But she's now just holding on to him, trying to support him until somebody else gets here that can take him and care for him. And she just whispers in your ear, "Don't ever put yourself in danger like that again. I can't bear to lose somebody else. I can't bear to lose another one of my family." And she just says that quietly into his ear as she's trying to kind of hold him and support him.
Yeah. People come to you quite quickly, fellow knights who are no longer taking part. Sir Gorman Peak with the 3 black towers on an orange field on his tabard comes over, and he's a tall man, carries him up. The taller man, the giant of Sir Gawain Oakhart, so a kind of cousin relative type to kind of to you now, really, who is the master at arms at Highgarden, comes and assists Sir Oliver too. As they start to depart, you glance down to Horatio, and there are a little gaggle of knights that Sir Oliver certainly saw at the feast the night before, who are trying to help him up. There's a couple of Dornish squires there as well who are tending to him. There's a maester that comes to you quite quickly, Sir Oliver, and there's a maesters now attending Horatio. And down, notably, with Horatio looking over him, and just standing just slightly away from the scene but still looking on, is Marin Martell.
Sir Oliver, as he sees Marin Martell and knows the maester's right there, would just make mention as loud as he can so that he knows he's heard. "It is poison he used. He has broken the oaths. There is only one place for a man like my brother to go, And then he lays his head back against whatever he's laying on and lets himself be treated. And he just hums hoarsely the back of his breath that same tune that played that morning in his music box.
That's where we fade out. Well.
Holy shit, Sam.
Part of me's like, again, and the other part is like, never again, please.
Please
You
stop.
can't do that to us. There was going to be real tears if Sir Oliver had died. I was tearing up at one point. I was like, no, don't cry on stream. Don't cry.
I mean, I didn't want that to happen because I don't know what I'd do with Don. So I'm glad. I'm really glad. I loved it when you fired your anointed off a bit too early. I was like, yes, I'm in.
Mara, I was sitting there thinking
that was my worst roll too. Like I went all in on the anointed and I rolled like a 13 or something.
Those 6s though, man. You get a 5, that's death. That's just like done. Fuck hell.
I had the image of Mara sitting in the stands as soon as that other lance came out, being like, God damn it, I almost don't want you to win so we don't look bad, but also I don't want you to die.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, fuck, now he's got to get the hell out of here before everyone kicks the crap out of him for the shit he just pulled.
Shit he just pulled. All right.
Yeah, Oliver pulled some serious shit pulling out that lance.
Yeah.
In front of Daenerys, princess.
I mean, it's all up for interpretation, really.
Of course. That's all you can rely on, right? Oh, man.
Keep spinning
Mara loves you, Sir Oliver, but not nearly as much as she loves her sister. I'm just saying that.
Oh, man.
And this is where all the infighting starts.
I'm sorry if this ending is not massively entertaining now that we're all just like, oh my god, what? We have to... Sorry, chat, we just have to take a moment. Like... Oh, man.
Go put my fan back on. It's too hot.
I can't even talk about it. Oh, my god.
Oh, what
Like
happened?
a live replay and just watch all of that back again, because that was tense. That was a lot.
Yeah. You wanted a tournament, right, B?
Yes, this is everything I wanted from this game, Sam, all in one session. It was great. I saw death before my eyes. I saw Mara dying in a fiery blaze of dragons. It's just... I really didn't expect any of that to go as well as it did. I can't believe I actually managed to talk around a Targaryen princess. I was expecting to fail that so badly and just...
And I just sent Sir Oliver a message that asked him if he'd seen any vultures. That's a great message to be sending right now.
Appropriate much. You'll notice that none of these letters that are flying around at the moment have reached anybody yet.
No, we've got like a week for these.
Mara's still waiting for letter from her brother, I think, from like first session. That hasn't arrived yet. It's going to be interesting.
It's for anybody who's thinking about playing this game and thinking, oh, I can dump animal handling. I don't need animal handling because I'm not going to ride on a horse. You're going to need it just to make sure that your letters get delivered properly. So animal handling is not your dump stat.
This is why Mara's just going to get everyone else to send her letters for her, because she gets that as the lady of a household. Just, here's a thing I wrote.
Yeah, you got a maester, you're sorted.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay, so Charlie, how are your bits? How are you feeling?
Well,
what's the plan?
Sophie and I last night speculated there was going to be some weird dream bullshit. We had weird dream bullshit. It was intense.
Welcome to my weird dream bullshit. I told you I wasn't going to roll.
Woman, the thing is she doesn't know what she should be stressed about, because what she should be stressed about was happening in the other scenes. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I can't wait for Marzia to find it out, because it's gonna be bad. But I'm like really stressed because I know Marzia is the healer, and she's like a bajillion miles away and can do nothing, which is the worst place to leave your healer. Stuck up a mountain, away from everyone else. But no, I really enjoyed my sessions. I'm glad that Marzia does have an ally so far with Lana. That's nice because she was very on her own, and she is an outsider to the Green One house to a degree. She's been there for 4 years, but she's not of blood. She's not grown up there. She's an imported creature lady. And yeah, I want it to be Thursday. I want to play more. I want to keep going. I want to see what's going on with Simon and with Miria. I can get the M's right eventually. And just, I was like, you know, Sir Oliver can't die because that would be 4 men. And we have a rule of 3s in this household.
You're safe. You're safe, Oliver.
We really do have a rule of 3 in this household. If no one's worked this out, 3 swords, 3 M's, 3 women,
3 dead male heirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just blown away. This was so much fun. We're still learning so much, but even with the pauses, check rules, and all that, I think this was still insanely intense. And I just hope everyone in chat enjoyed it as much as we did. Thank you so much, chat, for all those bits, all the support you're showing. I hope you're going to be back here next week because it's going to be crazy. I want to do another tournament. There was discussion of a meat grinder tournament, Sam, and I think this is a great idea. We should do this at some point. We can all, because
Sure.
I agree with Susie. I want to get on a horse. I want to play.
Laura does not want to get on a horse.
I want to play
All right.
boys with sticks, please.
All right. We'll do a little
I'm a
tournament
gal with a flower right now, but I'm down with being a boy with a stick. Okay.
we'll do a fake tourney with Arian and everyone down in Summer Hall. One shot meat grinder. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam, and thank you, Don and Virginia.
Thank you. So Don, Oliver has a week to wait until he can try and heal up his wounds. So that's you.
Yeah. I was literally just reading that because I was like, how long do I have to wait? Oh, it's a week. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So I probably haven't decompressed yet, but how's that going for you?
I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't want to be the Dornishman who used poison or who cheated. Like I want, like me, Don, the player, like I want to do anything it takes to win. That's what I want. But I was happy that Sir Oliver, I feel like besides the, that one little thing, that one little prideful thing, kept his nose pretty clean for the tournament. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the mechanics of the tournament, and getting to do the first melee combat afterwards was a lot of fun too. Horatio's a jerk, and he had it coming. Not gonna apologize for that. I do hope that he takes the black. It's what he deserves. Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait for whenever the next time I come in and play is, and I can't wait to see what everybody else is up to too. It's one of the things I really enjoy about this game is that like it bounces around all over the place, just like the novels and the TV show. You really get all these different perspectives, and even though we're very far apart and we all have sort of our own things that we're engaged in, we're all impacting each other. All of our choices that we're making are having a ripple effect. And I think that's really cool. So I'm excited to see how that continues to play out. And I'm just really enjoying getting to play with you guys. That's all. I'm online on Twitter. I write things and I play some other games. I'm the dungeon master for May Black Roses Bloom. Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're in our 3rd season right now, and things are pretty intense over there in Dragonlance. But man, I can't wait to get back and to see what some of the consequences after the first few weeks, first few sessions, what some of these consequences are going to be.
I'm going to have to move the time forward a little bit, because otherwise we're just going to be like day after day after day, and we're never going to get this finished. So we'll move it on a bit. There's a bit of recovery from you, I think. I think he just needs to take like a few days to just chill. So then we've got time to then bring back the intrigue of the poison and to see how that gets resolved.
Low.
Yeah.
Not start any more wars.
Definitely that. Cool. All right. But instead of making war, we're making allies, right, V?
Yeah, apparently.
Good job.
Maybe. We'll see how that goes.
Powerful friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like her. She's fantastic. Virginia wants to be her. secretly. That's no, that was amazing. That was so. I think I said this earlier, but I've been bugging Sam all week, just being like, all I want is a wedding tourney. I want someone to be crowned the Queen of Love and Beauty, and if it's not me, Mara's gonna be very upset. And I want there to be a fight or something happening. There's got to be drama, and I want to talk to a Targaryen princess. And all of those things happened spectacularly, and it all kind of went okay.
This is the thing with me. Like, I'll give you what you want, but might not necessarily work out for you.
I genuinely, when that whole threat thing came out with Princess Daenerys, there was a whole part of me that was just like, oh God, I can see Mara's life now flashing before her eyes. It's just fire.
Yeah, fire and blood.
I'm so excited about where this could go. Like the prospect that the fact that like while everything's going on at her wedding, she's got access to all of these people is great. And the fact she just wants her sister back. I'm coming for you, Susie. I'm trying.
We're working on it, Susie.
Yeah.
We're working real hard.
You're one step closer. I think that's like it's a long kind of as a long-term goal probably for the group. It's good. Like, and this is the thing with complex intrigues is you do a number of these intrigues, these actual like ones that we do like in a scene. You do enough of them, you get your thing, because it's like, okay, so what you've got to do is you've got to figure out your next step. So you've convinced Daenerys to support you in getting Miria back from Summerhall. What's your next move? How are you actually going to get her out of there? You got to convince Maker? Have you got to convince the king? Like, we've got to.
I'm definitely planning on playing on Daenerys a little bit more, because I don't want her just to feel like I'm indebted to her on a kind of social level and stuff like that. No, I want her to feel like I'm indebted to her on a personal level, because that way, because I can see it happening. Because there's only so much that Mara can put in letters to people before it looks like that she's plotting something, which is bad, even though she is that if something comes up that kind of throws it off and, you know, God forbid, somebody else in the family ends up making a terrible display of themselves somehow, you know, like with black flyer lances or anything.
Yeah, what's bad about that?
She can claim that regardless of that, she is an Oakheart and she is loyal to not just the Targaryens, but to Daenerys. That's her. It's the direction she's going in. Whether she is or not, that's a whole other thing to be seen. But who knows what she'll do to get her sister back safely.
I really do look forward to it.
It's just been great. I'm so happy.
just got all of these strands that are just, so good. I was so, like, nervous for this one, because I was just like, I could kill Dawn.
You said this to me earlier.
I could kill Dawn. I don't want to kill Dawn. It's too early.
Just remember, you're not actually killing Dawn. You're just killing Oliver, the most beloved character in the game.
I told I told Greg, who's in chat, before we jumped into the game today, I was like, I think I might die today, and if I do, I hope it's like Oberon dies. I hope it's ugly and ironic and disgusting. That's, you know, if I go, that I don't want to go like in a blaze of glory. I want to go really, really poorly. So I was ready to die today, but I also I knew I had the berserker trait. I was really like waiting for the moment for that to work, because it's so good when you have like I feel like Horatio and Oliver were really evenly matched. But that like one thing, getting that one extra attack, was like everything in that moment.
It was like literally it was.
When you said that you had that, I was like, yes, because I know exactly what that was, because I wanted to give it to Lana as like this weird ace up her sleeve. It was like, Lana gets hit, she's probably going to go down, but she'll try and take you with her.
Yeah.
I love Lana so much, and I'm really glad you didn't just kill her like straight off, by the way. Thank you, Sam.
That's all right. She only got sick in your dreams. It's cool.
So far.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for playing with me, and thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much for your generosity in chat with those bits. Like I said, we're not kind of like monetizing the game in any sense right now. But thanks for your support. Thanks for the subscriptions. That's really, really cool. I'm going to be back on Sunday with the Spy game on this channel. That is 4 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. Eastern. and we're going to be testing out more of the spy game. It's something that I'm publishing along with James, which is Black Cats Gaming in chat, and that is a 5th edition modern game all about espionage, action, intrigue, adventure, all with kind of cool gadgets and stuff like that. So if you like 5th Ed and you want to give a modern game a go, then check us out. We'll be kickstarting this summer. These lovely folks are going to be online as well, as I said at the top of the show, all around the week on various games, all around different channels. So check them out. Thank you so much.
After Spy Games, if you're still free a little bit later on, we do have the Sky Chasers premiere coming up on Tales from the Grim as well. So yeah, it's great. You can kind of hop from one to the other. There's a little bit of a break in the middle for some food. But Virginia's in that, Sam's in that, the wonderful Edelin's in that, and Susie's in that, as well as, cannot forget, Greg, the wonderful Greg, over on Tales from the Grim, and that's 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. Spy Games 11 a.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. UK.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Fun transition. You can go from like modern day espionage spies into weird 1950s
spies.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You could run Sky Chasers technically using the spy game. We're not, but you could.
Thanks for that. That was awesome. We could. Cool. All right. So yeah. So join us then. I might pop up for a bit of a prep thing again. I actually quite enjoy those because I get to just like chat shit about the game and stuff to you. Check out the wiki as well. If someone could post that in chat very quickly. And that gives you more information about the game too. Cool. Otherwise, we're about to raid Scraticus Academy. So let's do that.
Woo!
Have fun, folks. Check out Scraticus if you want to hang around with them. All right? Bye. 10 seconds. 8, 7. Yeah, there's the wiki. Go and talk to Scrat. Scrat's lovely. And they're probably playing something in a minute. Bye. Oh, raid now. Raid now. Did I do the thing?